Red walls and green tiles, carved with dragons and phoenixes, smooth, polished marble floors lie beneath. It seems she has traveled to the imperial palace. Let her think. What was that law for transmigrated heroines again? It seems like if a transmigrated heroine ends up in the palace, she is destined to be either a concubine or an empress. She was supposed to be on a happy trip, but ended up transmigrating so inexplicably. If she had to transmigrate, fine, but why specifically the imperial palace? She glanced up and saw dozens, even hundreds of eyes staring intently at her. More precisely, their gazes were fixed on the ground around her feet. She looked down. Did she cause a death? Xiaoliu was startled and jumped back 3 feet. After a moment's thought, she lowered her head again and looked at the people below. Judging by the figure, the lifeless figure on the floor should be a woman. She is dead. This can't be so tragic, can it? Felt the dozens of astonished gazes fixed upon him. Xiaoliu reached out and felt for the woman's breath. Very faint, mostly more air going out than in, and less air coming in. But luckily, she is not dead. There is still hope. She is not dead yet. There is still hope. Why aren't you rushing to get an imperial physician? If we delay, she might really be going to heaven. Xiaoliu irritably scratched her hair and let out a couple of dry laughs. After Xiaoliu said that, a few of the quicker ones, who snapped back to reality, were in a complete panic.
Hurry! Go quickly and fetch a divine doctor! 100,000 10 heads wouldn't be enough to behead.
It is so different, seeing how people in ancient times were. They even had to add the word divine before doctor. They were truly superstitious. I wonder if by falling from the sky like this, I'll be bestowed the title of a goddess from now on. Thinking this, Xiaoliu's smile turned somewhat sharp. Thinking of this, Xiaoliu let out a rather sharp laugh. Beneath his curved brows, his bright eyes sparkled like a fox's. Go crazy, go crazy. If not a goddess, at least a fairy. Wouldn't that make it easier to get by later? Seeing their flustered expressions, the woman's identity was evident. Xiaoliu was in a bind, and it was tragic, but he wasn't too worried about his own life. Bring on the torment. Bring on the torment. No matter how much they torment, a transmigrated heroine's life is always preserved. After all, if he were to die, the plot couldn't possibly continue, right? In the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea, the unlucky woman from Tianxian Temple lying on the ground was carefully carried out by the guards who rushed in. Carefully carried out. They say that miracle doctor is incredibly skilled and arrogant. Because he doesn't want to treat patients, he simply won't come. Other than the bloodstains on the ground, there was truly nothing to prove Xiaoliu's wrongdoing. However, Xiaoliu attributed it all to destiny. It was destiny that made him transmigrate. It was destiny that he almost smashed the beauty to death. Thus, his psychological burden lightened. However, watching him stride towards him, clad in fiery red, an utterly captivating, pure, and enchanting demonic man, Wu Hui dripped a large bead of sweat from his forehead. Excellent! He doesn't even have to make a move. They're already attacking. Watching the demonic man draw nearer, feeling his unparalleled, overwhelmingly powerful aura. Closer and closer. Wu Hui's eyes lit up, staring intently. So close, he could see the demonic man's features. His lips curved in a subtle smile. His intoxicating, alluring eyes, his high-bridged nose, his captivating pupils, his flawlessly sculpted features. How incredibly powerful was all of this? It was like a genuine live-action portrayal of a certain popular demonic male lead. Wu Hui's mind went blank, suppressing the urge to capture this demonic vision immediately. Only later did he realize his nostrils felt a little damp. Before Wu Hui could even raise his hand, a slender, flawless hand, like white jade, gently brushed across Wu Hui's nose. Wu Hui's eyes flickered sideways. What was that crimson stain on the jade-like hand? The distinct knuckles held that touch of red, making it so alluring. Who could tell him? Was that his nosebleed? Is that his nosebleed? It is definitely not. Definitely not. But, looking at it this way, it really seems to be The obscene stepmother thought resentfully.
He is going to take it away. He absolutely must take it away.
This is bullying. You don't even leave a good first impression. How am I supposed to get by later?
Who are you?
Just as Xia Liu was seething with indignation, the bewitching one spoke. His voice was absolutely divine, so divine and lewd. His nose started bleeding uncontrollably. There was no time to answer. Xia Liu tilted his head back, letting the blood flow upwards. He didn't want to die from losing too much blood. The main thing was, he hadn't wooed any handsome man yet, and there were still countless plot holes in his book to fill. How could he be willing to die now? The bewitching one leaned his handsome face closer, watching his movements with a hint of amusement. He pursed his thin lips, and a soul-captivating smile bloomed. He pulled out a silk handkerchief and gently wiped the blood from his nose. Lewd. The stepmother blinked, mumbling the two words.
Lewd.
The bewitching one frowned. Lewd? Am I really that lewd? Lecherous. The stepmother blinked and slurred out two words. The lecherous demon frowned. Lecherous? Is he really lecherous? Then he got angry. He only helped wipe his nosebleed, and he was called lecherous. If... He stared at her, her pink lips like cherry blossoms. A hint of a smile flashed in his peach blossom eyes. If he were to do something more... When the moist lips covered his, Shallow's brain froze. Oh my God, someone tell me what is going on. He had transmigrated, encountered a powerful demon, and then this demon, without a word, was too late. He'd trained through the tropes of transmigration novels. The hellish demon male lead. So was this lecherous first male lead. It is one thing if he is handsome, but he is the best of the best. I can barely accept it. Have you married? Xiaonian shook his head.
No.
No. Do you have concubines?
No.
Are you wealthy?
Yes.
He is the richest man. Who could possibly be richer than him? So, do you hold power? Xiao Liu continued to ask, nodding with satisfaction. Xiaonian frowned and continued.
Yeah.
Is it significant power? The demon decided to ignore the question. This woman asks too many questions. Is it significant power?
What do you think?
The demon was quite pleased with Xia Liu's awestruck gaze, and even threw a captivating glance his way. If I knew, I wouldn't be asking you. Do you think I'm just bored? Xia Liu twitched the corner of his mouth, a fleeting moment of rolling his eyes, and didn't forget to cast a disdainful look at this demon. Qiao Nianming pursed his lips, his handsome features furrowing slightly, his peach blossom eyes mesmerizingly, alluring, exuding an untamed charm, with pupils as deep and dark as ink, as if they could draw one in at any moment, dooming them forever.
Take him.
He uttered the two words in a low voice, his voice magnetic and deep, the kind that could send shivers down one's spine. Xia Liu swallowed hard, recalling the beauty almost crushed by him just now, and naturally asked the guards, "Where to?"
For a celebration.
As the demon's words fell, the entire place fell silent. He finally witnessed a true demon, and one of BSS level. He struck gold. Xia Liu's first male lead, with wealth and power, and unmarried. Not even a concubine. Even when he almost crushed someone, he still favored him. And with no wife or concubines, he might even still be a virgin. Hey, wait! Xia Liu lowered his voice, stopping the two guards who were about to take him away. The demon was stunningly handsome.
Do you need something else?
Xia Liu blinked, feigning innocence. Can I not go to your bedchamber? Look at his eyes. Pure as a stream, clear as glass. How innocent! As soon as he spoke, Xia Liu seemed to feel the atmosphere of the scene grow even colder. You could hear a pin drop. Oh, demon, Demon, your aura is simply overwhelming. Looking at everyone present, not a single soul dared to make a sound. The demon's brows, which had just relaxed, began to furrow again. The guest palace would be fine too. You really don't need to take me to your bedchamber. Xiaoliu smiled and tried to play it off. Then, Jiao Nian's face sank. That is right. His lips pressed together, but he remained silent. Xiaoliu was flustered again and quickly changed his tune. Then the heavenly prison would be fine too. Normally, places like the heavenly prison shown on TV have secret passages or people with high martial arts skills. Xiaoliu was calculating his odds rapidly in his mind.
Take him to the dungeon.
Jiao Nian glanced at Xiaoliu, then waved his hand, leaving without a trace, just like that. In the evening, Xiaoliu, restless on the wooden bed, shifted from sitting to lying down, then back to sitting. And just as he was about to lose his temper, the sound of a lock turning echoed from the dungeon's front door. Xiaoliu feigned, lying on the bed. The footsteps were light, and drawing nearer. In the silence of the dungeon, with only him present, they sounded particularly out of place. It was clear that only a few people had arrived, perhaps just one. And this person's steps were more measured than usual. Finally, under Xiaoliu's gaze, a figure in white entered his line of sight. The visitor was, surprisingly, a beauty, possessing a stunning appearance. Long black hair cascaded over her shoulders. Her deep-set eyes, as unfathomable as the universe. Beneath her high-bridged nose were two delicate, pink lips, which were pursed gently, as if that was their natural habitual expression. From this it was evident that she rarely smiled. She walked towards Xiaoliu, clad in spotless white, exuding an aura as noble as a divine decree in the damp dungeon, inspiring a sense of reverence that dared not be disturbed. In every gesture and movement, she possessed an innate nobility and a commanding presence that was uniquely hers. Xiaoliu gazed at her, her eyes like glazed glass, shining brightly, sparkling like perfectly polished diamonds. When the woman looked up at him, a hint of surprise flickered in her dark pupils. Xiaoliu palpatized her. After a moment, a decision was made in his heart. "Good," he declared. "I want to be your woman." "Huh. I want to be your woman," he said, with a frivolous tone, his voice faint, looking very much like a scoundrel. The man's expression remained unchanged, his gaze fixed on him coldly.
"You'll crush the person to death."
His voice was cold, carrying the anger of the eve of a storm. "He is dead." Wu Hui frowned, losing his mood to joke, unaware that danger was approaching. "He is dead, crushed to death by him."
"What do you think?"
The man's gaze was deep, bottomless. Was he really going to bear the burden of a life and live out his days in this time and space? Wu Hui felt a little dizzy. Wasn't he still alive when I pressed him? And don't you have a divine doctor? It seems your imperial physicians need replacing. Are those court physicians all vegetarians? How could he have died like this? Upon hearing this, the man's already strikingly cold eyes became even colder in an instant.
"Who sent you?"
An utterly unrelated question, but Xiaoliu understood. "No one sent me. I'm not some assassin, here to assassinate you. Truly, please believe me." Saying this, Xiaoliu raised his gaze, neither retreating nor avoiding, looking directly at him. He thought it was normal for them to suspect him, but he was unhappy. Unhappy to be mistaken for an assassin. Unhappy to be facing imprisonment as soon as he arrived. Unhappy, extremely unhappy. But the man didn't look at him, merely glancing at him lightly, and said with extreme coldness,
"No recruitment. I will make you comply obediently." "Not talking, are you? I will make you talk obediently."
His words were chillingly cold, sending a shiver down Xiaoliu's spine. Listening to his self-proclaimed title, it was clear he was the emperor of this palace. An emperor had entered the dungeon for an unknown person. Recalling the scene of the incident, Xiaoliu realized the gravity of the situation and quickly asked, "Who was the person I crushed to death?" "The princess, the concubine, the empress," Xiaoliu, disheveled and bewildered, thought. "This is too dramatic, isn't it?"
It was your imperial sister.
The man coldly spat out a few words, then continued,
I'll give you one last chance. Who sent you here? 上官南轩? Or was it a misstep?
"Please calm down, and perhaps you won't believe me now. But please think carefully. Even if I were to assassinate your ideal person, it should have been you, not your sister. What would be the point of me killing your sister? If I killed you, wouldn't that be more ideal? And you should know the circumstances back then. I fell from the sky. I just didn't expect to hit your sister, so I really wasn't sent by anyone."
Bastard! No one sent me here! Why are you so blind to the difference between right and wrong? Fengluan will fall with an emperor like you who cannot distinguish right from wrong, and will be destroyed, sooner or later.
With my hands and feet bound, in desperation, Xiaoliu could only curse the emperor who stood by and watched coldly, but then he was viciously slapped across the face. "Xiaoliu, get back." He cursed. "You damned eunuch! How dare you hit me? You'll get a bad end!" The eunuch glared fiercely at Xiaoliu, and as he saw that hand, like dead wood, about to strike again, Xiaoliu flinched in fear, but the blow never landed. After a long pause, the eunuch said hatefully,
The emperor is deeply concerned for the nation and its people. And yet you, a traitor and rebel, would insult him so carelessly.
It turned out he was defending the emperor's honor. Putting that aside, Xiaoliu fell silent. His eyes fixed hatefully on the nonchalant emperor. How could he have thought this man handsome just moments ago? Now he looked utterly repulsive. He can't tell right from wrong. He is utterly indiscriminate. A dead emperor, a stinking emperor, a rotten emperor. You deserve a terrible death. Filled with indignant fury, Xiaoliu could only curse him in his heart. He raised an eyebrow and then smiled.
As long as you reveal who your master is, I will consider granting you a more comfortable death.
Does this woman really think he is a fool? Falling from the sky, hundreds of people. Why didn't it hit anyone else? But his imperial sister, if he doesn't teach him a lesson, won't the whole world laugh at him? He is not exactly a gentleman anyway. So, what if it is forced confession? He has always focused on results. The process is irrelevant, judging by his tone. The implication is, she is doomed anyway. Forced confession, or death without confession. Either way, she dies. He is so vile. Why is she so tragic? The pain in her body struck unexpectedly. The whiplashes burning her skin. An agonizing pain. Tears of pain streamed down her face, but she could only grit her teeth, enduring the lashing on her body. Her lips sealed, refusing to cry out in pain. She would never admit defeat, for admitting it might mean her death. This made the whipper doubt if he hadn't eaten. Thinking so, he struck even harder. A flicker of peculiarity crossed his dark gaze. Then he smiled.
Brother, what is up?
She clearly looked like a frail woman, yet her expression was so defiant. She was a living person. Of course, she felt pain, and it was excruciating. As her consciousness blurred, she heard the emperor coldly utter another question.
Who sent you?
Hearing this, Xiaoliu looked up, her stray hair brushing her exquisite cheeks. She glared at him fiercely, her eyes filled with a deadly defiance. Her stunning face shot him a fierce glare, her eyes burning with an unyielding defiance. No one sent me. Even if you beat me to death today, this answer will never change.
Is that so?
The emperor gritted his teeth and asked rhetorically, then ordered his men.
It seems it wasn't enough. What is the matter, brother?
Xiaoliu bared his teeth and gave the emperor a cold smile. In my next life, I will definitely settle the score with you. Debts from a past life to be repaid. In this one.
This was incredibly audacious. He must have owed him in a past life. And even if he didn't, this feud was sealed in this life. Shelly wanted to roar out loud, but he had no strength left.
Afraid.
Since you know fear, then obediently tell me, and I will spare you.
Why don't you believe us? When we speak the truth, why must you force confessions? Everything I'm saying is the truth. Why won't you believe it? This mindset of better to kill 100 by mistake than let one go will one day make you regret it. It will make you regret it. This mentality of killing 100 by mistake rather than letting one go will one day make you regret it. It will make you regret it. In fact, you should have known from the start that I didn't assassinate your sister. Why the suffering? Why insist on pushing me to the brink? Just because you are the Emperor. Can't you let go of any suspicious person? Have you ever considered that this is truly just your paranoia? His head tilted, and he no longer had the strength to say anything, whether from fear or pain. He just fainted on the spot.
Your Majesty.
What is it?
Lady Yi.
Before the mention of her guard had even fully registered, he walked out with an extremely cold expression.
Your Majesty.
The eunuch hesitated,
How should this be handled?
recalling his earlier words. He habitually pursed his lips.
Continue to interrogate. Use any means necessary, until he confesses.
He paused. Then the emperor, without a hint of hesitation, rushed to Fengxia Palace. As everyone knows, Lady Yan of Fengxia Palace is the emperor's most favored concubine. No matter what the matter, no matter where the emperor was, or what he was doing, all it took was a word from Lady Yi of Fengxia Palace for the emperor, even if he were in the middle of court, to abandon his duties at court and rush to her side without a second thought. And the Lady Yi of Fengxia Palace commanded both respect and fear from the palace staff. Ye Fei of Fengxia Palace leaned languidly on the couch, clad in fiery red. Her silken hair cascaded down. Her skin was as white and translucent as fine porcelain. Her hands, like gilded carvings, rested on her belly. The palace maid kept her head lowered, standing tremblingly behind Ye Fei. After a long pause, Ye Fei spoke softly.
Has he not arrived yet?
The palace maid flinched and replied cautiously.
Little Juicy has already gone to inform the Emperor. I believe His Majesty is on his way now.
Ye Fei curled his lips.
With your head bowed, does this imply I am unattractive, not worthy of your gaze?
The palace maid glanced up, her face drained of color in fright, and immediately knelt, pleading.
Please, spare me! Able to... ugly.
Ye Fei was insistent on this point. The palace maid hesitated and answered, somewhat flustered.
Your ladyship is beautiful, more beautiful than any other lady in the palace.
Ye Fei's voice suddenly rose a notch, with a hint of barely perceptible anger.
Yes. I am beautiful. But, love, are they worthy of being compared to me? Do they dare compare with this palace? Are they to be compared with me?
The palace maid was flustered, but didn't know what to say. Ye Fei smiled, her eyes flashing with a bloodthirsty fury. She declared angrily,
Guards, drag them away and behead them.
My lady, spare my life.
The palace maids turned ashen, not knowing what they had done wrong. Just moments ago, Ye Fei had already executed someone who insisted on persuading her to drink her medicine, to think that she hadn't even done anything yet, and she was already on the verge of death. Tears streamed down her face in fear, but she could only continue to cry out, yet no one seemed to hear her. Gradually, her voice faded into the distance. The remaining palace maids didn't dare to breathe, When Hua Zhiyan arrived at Fengsha Palace, this was the scene that greeted him. A headache seemed to pinch at his lips. As he twitched his mouth, he walked up to Yi Fei and sighed helplessly.
I heard you're refusing to take your medicine again.
Ye Fei, choked with anger, accused the emperor.
Hua Zhiyan, you forgot my medicine time for a mere prisoner. Did you forget my medicine time for a mere prisoner?
Throughout the realm, who else would dare speak to the emperor this way, other than perhaps Imperial Consort Yi of Fengsha Palace? However, Hua Zhiyan did not seem angered. He said, gently,
It is true. Drink your medicine obediently first.
He said, taking the medicine from the palace maid and offering it to Yi Fei. But Yi Fei turned her head away fiercely, disdainful even of drinking the medicine personally brought by the emperor. Hua Zhiyan finally showed some anger.
What is it you truly want?
Hua Zhiyan was finally getting angry.
What is it you want?
Don't you care about me?
Ye Fei pursed his lips, his expression melancholic, and Hua Zhiyan, initially angered, softened upon hearing this. His demeanor softened.
Do I care about you? You know that in your heart. Why do we need to say more?
You, because of a prisoner, forgot my medicine time.
It is my fault. However, I am the Emperor of Fengluan, and I have my responsibilities. I cannot be with you for all 12 hours of the day.
All right.
Though still somewhat displeased, Ye Fei obediently drank the medicine. Seeing Yi Fei drink the medicine, Hua Zhiyan visibly relaxed. Her dark eyes darted, her picturesque brows furrowed deeply, her expression etched with worries and troubles beyond ordinary understanding. Ye Fei put down the medicine bowl. Speak.
Today, noble consort Wang.
As he began, Hua Zhiyan interrupted.
Ordering the accompanying eunuch Li to strip noble consort, one of her rank, and imprison her in the death row.
This noble consort was the emperor's new favorite from just a few days prior. But of all people, who could he have offended? He'd had to offend Ye Fei, making Ye Fei displeased. Poor noble consort Wan, with her beauty like a blooming flower. Her fate was thus sealed. Eunuch Lai, accustomed to acting on the emperor's verbal commands, had already departed. Seeing this, Ye Fei's lips curved into a slight smile. Sha Liu was far from comfortable in the dungeon at this moment. Waking from unconsciousness, he was in pain, hurting all over. However, the moment he opened his eyes, he saw the cold emperor suffering, anger fueling his strength. He cursed the dog emperor, his power unleashed without discrimination.
And those who provoked him, it seemed he had gone too easy on them yesterday.
Sha Liu's anger simmered, threatening to boil over, but after a moment's thought, he knew he had to endure it. If he didn't want to suffer more, he had to bear it. Simply enduring wouldn't work. He needed to find a way to free himself. So, Sha Liu smiled and asked the emperor, "Let me ask you a few questions, may I?"
Very well.
Hua Zhiyan curled the corners of his lips, a playful smile. What kind of kung fu would it take to fall from such a great height without being harmed?
Peerless divine skill.
If one possessed such a skill, would killing you be as easy as killing your imperial sister? Hua Zhiyan fengde, his expression unreadable. Sha Liu pressed on. If one had this peerless divine skill, escaping this dungeon of yours would likely be a simple matter, wouldn't it? Also, you understand kung fu, don't you? The emperor nodded. Excellent. As I've said, you likely understand now. I did not kill your imperial sister, nor do I possess any kung fu. You understand kung fu yourself, so you can investigate. And furthermore, now that you've investigated, please release me. Hua Zhiyan pursed his lips. Just as Xia Liu worried if the emperor would heed his words, he heard him let out a low cry.
误会.
Then Sha Liu saw that, at some point, a young man, entirely clad in black, had appeared before him.
误会.
Then Sha Liu noticed that, at some point, he extended 2 icy fingers and touched Xia Liu's hand. Sha Liu shivered from the cold. The boy named Wu Shuang withdrew his hand and shook his head at the emperor. The emperor's eyes darted,
and he asked doubtfully,
You don't know Kung Fu?
Didn't your people already check? Can't you even trust your own people? What a suspicious emperor.
Since you don't understand Kung Fu, how did you fall from the sky? And how did you land on Shira?
He said. Hua Zhiyan's tone shifted, and he asked coldly,
Who helped you?
Hearing this, Xiaoliu felt like spitting blood. He even wished he could die. No one helped me. I really just fell from the sky. And then traveled through time. That is my luggage. You can take it out and look. It is a product from hundreds or even thousands of years in the future. That item can prove I traveled from another time and space. It is just that your sister, Shurong, was just too unlucky to be hit by me. While the emperor went to get the item, Xiaoliu gasped for air. Damn it. The pain in his body was becoming unbearable. He could barely hold on. If this continued, he would lose half his life even if he survived. How could he be so unlucky to encounter such a stubborn tyrant?
What is this?
Hua Zhiyan took the pink square box and examined it from side to side. The notebook growled as it came downstairs. Damn it! What an old antique!
And what is this?
Spectacles. After the emperor had examined everything, Xiaoliu was barely breathing. So, do you believe me now? Believe it or not, the emperor was somewhat perplexed. Though Xiaoliu's words were peculiar, they had indeed begun to sway his decision. What he said wasn't entirely untrue. The fact that Xiaoliu had no martial arts was undeniable. And these items were indeed things he had never encountered. They were utterly novel. Especially this small square box. That could produce sound was strange yet strangely amusing. After some thought, the emperor made his choice.
Even if no one sent you, the imperial sister was injured because of you. The death penalty can be waived, but the crime itself cannot be escaped.
Xiaoliu rolled his eyes. Yet, hearing this, he was still quite pleased. At least he wouldn't suffer as much, right? Especially since his imperial sister wasn't dead. Just injured. That made things much simpler. How about this? You let me go first. Your imperial sister is injured, isn't she? I'll take care of her until she recovers. And until she forgives me. How about that? This punishment, though the emperor felt it was a bit lenient, was something he accepted.
If you harbor any thoughts of escape or any other improper intentions, I will make your life worse than death.
The next day, Xiaoliu, still covered in wounds, left the dungeon. The emperor, in his exceptional grace, granted Xiaoliu permission to first recover from his injuries before attending to Princess Shurong. This method of the emperor's the slap first, then offer a date. Xiaoliu, though he scorned it, had no choice but to feign happiness and accept. What made Xiaoliu feel most dejected, however, was that the dog emperor had actually taken his bag and his notebook. Half a month later, Xiaoliu's injuries had mostly healed. The weather was clear that day, bright and sunny. Yin pushed open the door of the miscellaneous room and addressed Xiaoliu, who was humming a song.
Miss Xiaoliu, the emperor has instructed me, your servant, to take you to Princess Shurong's quarters today.
Oh, all right. Yin is a first-class palace maid in the palace. And Xiaoliu had become the most familiar with Yin during the past half-month. The reason? Xiaoliu found Yin to be a good person, clever and intelligent, and well-connected. Most of the servants in the palace, both high and low, knew him well. This is why Xiaoliu felt so at ease with Yin.
Xiaoliu, Princess Shurong is a very kind person and treats servants very well. Even though you were the one who injured her, you don't need to worry too much. Just focus on taking good care of the princess.
After walking for about half an hour, as they passed a corner, Xiaoliu and Yin heard sounds of someone being molested from a distance ahead. Xiaoliu cupped a hand to his ear, listening carefully.
Beauty, you smell so fragrant. Let this king have a kiss.
It is a seductive voice, the kind that makes you tingle from head to toe. The prince, with a coy demeanor,
feigns reluctance.
The beauty prince?
Beauty?
Xia Liu showed his eyes. Why is it always just these two lines? This teasing is really low class, isn't it?
Sigh, the prince is teasing the servants again.
Si Yin, walking beside him, suddenly remarked. Xia Liu, the rogue, pressed further. Prince! Does he often tease the palace maids?
Yes.
A prince, after he has had his fill, has nothing better to do than tease palace maids. As he rounded the corner, as if drawn by some enchantment, Xia Liu turned his head to look. At that corner, a man, a demonically beautiful figure in fiery red, was lifting a palace maid's chin with a hand as perfectly sculpted as gilded eagles. Silken silver hair cascaded down, his appearance 3 parts more beautiful than any woman's. Xia Liu saw the demon's eyes, hazy, with intoxication, captivating and soul-snatching. Isn't this the demon who once teased me? At this realization, Xia Liu stared a moment longer. The lush ambience of the room paled in comparison to the demon's slight smile. Such devastating beauty, so utterly nonchalant. As if sensing his gaze, the demon's eyes flickered sideways towards Xia Liu, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. But in that glance, Xia Liu saw that the demonic man, without the slightest pause, as if he hadn't seen him at all, averted his gaze. This demon, has he forgotten me? He doesn't remember me at all. Thinking of this, Xia Liu felt a little disappointed. This troublesome demon has only been here for half a month, and he already doesn't remember who he is. It is a shame I even considered him the top demon male lead. He truly lives up to the name, Prince Wu Hui. As Xia Liu was lost in thought, he heard Si Yin sigh.
The prince still can't remember people.
Can't remember people? Could this demon have a story behind him? Xia Liu pressed. Can't remember anyone. There are so many palace maids in the palace. The prince is bound to not remember us.
It is not that the prince can't remember people, but that he can't remember any woman.
Why is that? This demon can't remember any woman. Is it his emotional intelligence? Hearing Xia Liu's question, Xin realized she had been tricked and quickly corrected herself.
We servants don't know the details of this matter either. Perhaps it is just a rumor.
Xia Liu smiled, and since he couldn't get any more information, he fell silent. Xia Liu noticed that Xian's character was truly exceptional, or rather, he was very well regarded. As they walked, servants of all ranks greeted him, and he smiled and chatted with them before they even got close. From afar, he saw the 3 large characters for Flattery Palace hanging on the plaque. Xia Liu stood outside the grand hall, while Sign went inside to announce his arrival. Soon, a maidservant emerged. Upon seeing Xia Liu, she scrutinized him from head to toe, her eyes filled with hatred. The maid saw him and said coldly,
I am Beirong, the princess's personal maid. I will take you to see the princess now. You may enter.
So, she was Princess Shirong's maid. No wonder her expression was so hostile, as if she wanted to devour him. She rolled her eyes. And Xia Liu followed her into the Hall of Adoration. To be honest, she felt very guilty towards this unfortunate princess. However, upon seeing the princess still lying in bed, unable to move, that guilt intensified slightly. After all, she had caused this. Xia Liu felt an intense aversion towards Beirao, whose expression was difficult to fathom. Therefore, she didn't react much. Is the princess not better yet? Xia Liu moved her lips, uttering this question. Beirong's face immediately darkened.
If the princess were well, why would she still be lying in bed on such a hot day?
She retorted, turning to glare at Xia Liu.
It is all your fault. If it weren't for you, the princess wouldn't be like this.
Facing Beirong's accusations, Xia Liu remained silent. It is not entirely my fault, as fate is beyond one's control. After a long pause, Xia Liu uttered this sentence. The so-called miracle doctors here aren't that impressive either. It has been over half a month, and the princess is still confined to her bed. It is truly an insult to the word miracle. It seems they should retire.
Indeed, it is time for these physicians to retire.
I don't know when. The refined man picked up the impertinent words, went downstairs, and followed the sound. He was a man of unparalleled elegance, but he didn't even spare him a glance and said directly,
He only broke 3 ribs. His lungs were punctured,
and he had severe internal bleeding. Such minor issues, and I actually spent over half a month treating him. It seems I really should retire and let the downright girl handle the treatment.
Is it really that serious? Great divine doctor, I was wrong. Xiao Liu let out 2 dry chuckles. Hurry up.
Great divine doctor, this humble girl spoke nonsense, chattered irresponsibly, so I beg my lord, that you, a great person, overlook the mistakes of a petty one. Please don't hold it against this humble girl.
What does it mean to lift a rock, only to drop it on one's own feet? This is a textbook example. The divine doctor sneered.
May I ask how old you are, downright girl?
23.
The old divine doctor scoffed.
I am only 22.
Downright felt a black line forming, and the corners of her mouth twitched slightly. It seems this divine doctor is truly remarkable and powerful, and his words are as sharp as poison. Watching the busy divine doctor descend the stairs, she was momentarily speechless, unsure of what to say. Beirou did not look him in the eye, and the divine doctor ignored him as he went downstairs, making her feel quite pathetic.
To be treated like this.
At this moment, Princess Shirong, lying on the bed, slowly awoke, her exquisite face utterly devoid of color. Princess Shirong, lying on the bed, slowly woke up, her exquisitely beautiful face completely pale, and Beirou's eyes welled up with tears upon seeing this.
Princess, you're awake.
Princess Shirong nodded slightly, then turned to ask downstairs.
You are Miss Liu, aren't you?
Not knowing what to say, Xiao Liu could only nod in silence.
I am truly sorry.
Why would the princess apologize to him? It was he himself who had caused her harm. Xiao Liu was taken aback.
It was my imperial brother. He must have made you suffer a great deal. I'm sorry.
Princess, it is I who should apologize. It was me who caused you to become this way. I am the one who should apologize. Xia Liu's eyes widened. If the princess had been fierce, he could have held his ground. But now she was apologizing to him, which left him utterly stunned. In the stories he'd read, and even the ones he'd written, princesses were always depicted as fierce and formidable. He never expected to encounter a princess as pure and innocent as a blank slate. Princess, I'm sorry. It was all my fault. He performed a standard bow. Xia Liu, apologizing respectfully.
No, it is all right.
Shirong summoned her, then turned to Beirou, her expression filled with a touch of anxiety, and asked in a very soft voice,
Has Brother Shan not arrived yet?
Beirou's expression stiffened for a moment. Then she offered words of comfort.
Your Highness, there is no need to worry. The prince will surely return as soon as he can.
Shirong gave a faint smile, her expression pale, and closed her eyes, falling silent. At that moment, Xia Liu could clearly see the tender heart of a young woman beneath Princess Shirong's pallid countenance. However, when Beirou tried to comfort her, she turned and smiled, her face still pale, her eyes betraying an unconcealable brokenness and sorrow. Her heart was so pure, so utterly transparent. Princess Shirong was of unparalleled beauty, yet possessed a heart as fragile as glass. Seeing the divine doctor leave, Beirou glanced fearfully at the sleeping princess. She sighed and hurried after the divine doctor.
That smiling princess!
When will she ever recover? The divine doctor did not look back.
Perhaps she never will.
Aren't you a divine doctor? Must Princess Xirong lie in bed for the rest of her life in this backward era with such rudimentary medicine? His footsteps faltered. The divine doctor said,
I can heal bodies, but I cannot heal the heart.
Her heart felt as if it were being squeezed tightly by something, causing an intense ache. Before I knew it, Xia Liu followed Dr. Shen to Fengxia Palace. Dr. Shen suddenly stopped. Xia Liu stopped too. From a distance, they heard a woman's cries and angry curses.
Demon concubine! I curse you to have a terrible death. Even if I become a ghost, I will not spare you.
The sound faded away, and a palace maid was dragged away by 2 guards. She struggled, cursing all the way. But no matter how she struggled, it was to no avail. Xia Liu had heard of concubine Ye of Fangsha Palace, but never imagined she would be so tyrannical and so cruel. What kind of person could concubine Ye be who enjoyed the sole favor of that dog emperor? Xia Liu wondered. Why have you stopped? Are you going in to see concubine Ye? He also wanted to see what the legendary concubine Ye was like.
Are you sure you didn't go in?
Dr. Shen glanced at him coldly. Is the doctor worried about me? Worried that concubine Yi might harm me? Oh, doctor, I didn't expect you to have a heart of gold. Naturally. Dr. Shen sneered twice, then walked into Fangsha Palace as if no one was around. Xia Liu followed eagerly, wagging his tail.
Get out! Get out! All of you! Who let you in?
Shen Yi sighed, his voice low.
It is me.
Ye Fei, who had been making a fuss, suddenly fell silent, and the oppressive atmosphere in the room instantly dissipated. Is the miracle doctor very familiar with Lady Yi? Xia Liu looked over curiously, only to see silver threads like silk cascading down. It was clear that it was the back of Yi Fei's head. Even just looking at the back of the head, Xia Liu found it quite beautiful.
You must take your medicine on time. How many times have I told you not to lose your temper? Why don't you listen?
Upon hearing this, Ye Fei turned his head, saying with great grievance,
Letter. When can I go out to see you?
He asked when he could go out into the light, his expression as aggrieved as a child's. The moment Xia Liu saw Ye Fei, he was indeed stunned, amazed by Yi Fei's beauty. But after the initial amazement, what truly surprised Xia Liu was that he had albinism. It was a definitive statement. Xia Liu was absolutely certain Ye Fei definitely had albinism. Liu Bai is also a miracle doctor. He looked at Xia Liu in astonishment.
He only has one disease. How do you know what disease he has?
Did I say something wrong? Doesn't he have this disease? His symptoms are clearly albinism. He won't be mistaken. No wonder those people call Yi Fei demon consort. It is probably because of this. It is just rare that I didn't expect the miracle doctor to know too.
Yes, he has a disease, but I haven't been able to find identical symptoms.
Of course, cases of albinism are still quite rare.
How do you know what illness he has?
He has pursued this for so long, explained for so long, yet no one has ever believed that Ye Fei only suffers from this one condition. Now, after so much difficulty, there is finally someone who knows, who understands. How could he not be ecstatic? Xia Liu glanced at Ye Fei, only to see him gazing at him with fervent anticipation. His eyes, shining with a bright expression, held a childlike innocence in his hope. It is truly impossible to reconcile this with the tyrannical and bloodthirsty Yi Fei from just moments ago. This condition has a medical name, albinism. I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard my master mention it before. Xia Liu was at a loss for words, unsure how to explain further. He could only casually mention parole.
And try to see if he could be recommended to someone named Liu.
I'm sorry, Master. Your venerable self passed away a long time ago. Xia Liu couldn't bear to shatter the hope in Ye Fei's eyes. But albinism remains incurable, even in modern times, let alone in this primitive ancient era. Watching the light in Ye Fei's eyes dim little by little, Xia Liu hastily said, But don't give up. There are many miracles in this world. I will tell you everything I know without reservation. Ye Fei's expression grew somber, and he managed to smile, like a wounded child.
Miracles. Miracles that have never favored me.
Such anticipated words, yet miracles have never favored him. Waving his hand, Ye Fei said,
Everyone out.
Yi, what did Xia Liu want to say? Yi Fei glared fiercely.
Or else this palace will have you carried out.
Hearing this, Xia Liu, for some reason, didn't feel afraid. Instead,
he felt a surge of pity for Yi Fei.
I don't want anyone's pity. Get out!
A fierce compassion descended, hitting Sha Liu's forehead with brutal accuracy. Jia Liu Dao gasped. He felt the fresh blood trickling down his forehead.
You call me stupid. I'll show you what it is like to wish you were dead.
What are you saying? Sha Liu was very confused, raising his head and glaring fiercely at the Dog Emperor. My being stupid has nothing to do with you. I have absolutely nothing to do with you. So my being stupid is none of your business. He hadn't forgotten how the Dog Emperor had treated him in the dungeon. Thinking about it now, he could still feel the sharp pain in his body. The Emperor glared at him coldly. His gaze shifted and turned to Yi Fei, suddenly growing colder.
Yi Fei, what more do you want? What will it take for you to be satisfied?
Yi Fei let out a cold laugh.
Hua Zhiyan, you can disregard this.
So the Dog Emperor's real name was Hua Zhiyan.
Night, day after day like this, even I get weary. I get tired too. Lettuce. But what about you? I truly hope you don't take the favor I've shown you as a license for your willfulness. It will do you no good at all.
Yi Fei twitched his nose, pursing his lips stubbornly, and turned away, no longer speaking.
You two, go out first.
What is this? Telling the Emperor to leave? The Emperor pursed his lips into a curve he had long been accustomed to, then grabbed Jia Liu Dao and turned to leave. What are you doing? I haven't even agreed to leave. Xia Liu was dejected, feeling the blood on his forehead flowing faster. Why is my life so miserable? Ever since I transmigrated to this world, I haven't had a single good day. The Emperor remained silent, pulled Xia Liu all the way into the imperial study. Xia Liu saw Si Yin.
Go and summon the imperial physician.
The guard, seeing Xia Liu, was also clearly surprised, but he saluted discreetly and withdrew. He watched Xia Liu, his eyes darting around.
What are you looking for?
Where is my bag?
Before your suspicion is cleared, I will not give you any chance to escape. Furthermore, I have not yet found out, and you cannot be foolish.
Xia Liu Yun, dejected. You underestimate me too much. If I were to become foolish from just one blow like that, then your subordinates whipping me so many times would have already caused me to bleed to death. All my entire body would have festered and died. The Emperor remained silent. Such silence made Xia Liu feel a bit awkward. Are you that idle?
Rest assured, you will have many opportunities to see me in the future.
How many concubines do you have?
Do you wish to become one of them?
She felt speechless. How could the Emperor retort to everything she said? Xia Liu bit the bullet and continued to ask, Do you love Lady Ye, Fei dearly? How could there be such favor without love? Only when you love someone wholeheartedly will you tolerate them. The Emperor's hand paused as he reviewed the memorial, glancing at Xia Liu with an unreadable expression. He chose silence. To Xia Liu, this silence was undoubtedly an acquiescence. Hey, your relationship with Yi Fei is quite unusual. It doesn't feel like that of a concubine and an emperor at all. The same goes for the divine Dr. Liu Bai. Xia Liu's words suddenly caught in his throat, because he felt that as he spoke, the atmosphere instantly became unusual and very stifling. This oppressive feeling made Xia Liu feel immense pressure. Convinced of his suspicions, Xia Liu shut his mouth awkwardly. Just then, Si Yin arrived with the imperial physician. The imperial physician was also hesitant and was extremely careful when examining and treating Xia Liu. Xia Liu let out an embarrassed dry chuckle. He glared fiercely at the Emperor, who raised an eyebrow, but didn't look at him directly. However, That oppressive feeling also subsided. Xiyin stood respectfully to the side, watching the interaction between the emperor and Sha Liu, her expression unreadable.
Your Majesty, I report that the lady is not seriously injured. 2 more doses of medicine tomorrow should suffice.
The imperial physician wiped the sweat from his forehead and reported in a low voice to the emperor. The emperor waved his hand, and the imperial physician, trembling slightly, respectfully withdrew. Sha Liu touched the thick white gauze wrapped around his head, and just as he was about to say something, he was interrupted by a word from the emperor.
Get out, and be quick about it.
Sha Liu moved his lips. Seeing the emperor's ashen face, he could only swallow his words, and retreated unwillingly. She hadn't taken 2 steps when she heard the emperor say,
All of you, get out. Without my command, no one is to enter.
He must have been talking to the palace maids. What a moody emperor he is. Getting angry so easily, he'll be short-lived. Sha Liu reluctantly turned and returned to the servants' quarters, her mind racing all the way. A first medicine consort with albinism, a prince who can't remember any woman, a moody emperor, a sharp-tongued divine physician, and a princess as innocent as a blank sheet of paper. This Fengluan dynasty is truly intriguing. Back in the servants' quarters, there was nothing to do. As for Princess Xirong, she didn't seem to blame me at all. Going to her now wasn't important. What mattered was how to get her back. She leaned against a large rock. Sha Liu closed her eyes lightly and began to hum. Insects fly, insects fly. Who are you missing? The stars in the sky shed tears. The roses on the ground withered, and the cold wind blows. As she hummed, she suddenly heard another voice. Opening her eyes, Sha Liu saw the demon prince. Sha Liu exclaimed in admiration, putting his hand to his lips, and whistled. He shouted out to him, Hey there, say hello.
My local prince, we meet again.
The demon lowered the flute in his hand and gave him a wry smile.
Have you seen me?
The question seemed directed at him, but also to himself, his voice barely audible. Have I seen you? He himself wasn't sure, milling about the imperial city every day. I've probably seen you. So, he really didn't remember. Sha Liu gave a smile and teased. Oh, yes, I've seen you. Do you remember that day in the Grand Hall? I was the one who descended from the sky and almost killed someone. Oh, right, you even teased me. Do you remember? He didn't know why Sha Liu said this. He just wanted the man before him to remember him. The demon visibly paused. He looked intently at Sha Liu. Sha Liu looked back at him, gazing deep into his eyes. At that moment, Sha Liu was disappointed to realize that even though this demon man was looking at him so seriously, yet deep within his eyes, deep within his pupils, there was no him. Sha Liu walked over, a hint of disappointment on his face. Face to face with him, nose tip to nose tip.
This scent. It is you. I remember this scent.
His voice was intoxicatingly soft, as if it could make one's entire being melt from head to toe. An indescribable comfort. It is me. I didn't expect a charm like you to remember your own scent. Such blatant swagger. I felt a little giddy. Then he asked,
Who are you?
How vulgar. He frowned, staring at his lips, then covered them. A gentle sway as our lips and teeth intertwined. He asked, Have you taken a wife?
No.
No wife. Are you wealthy?
No.
Do you have money?
Yes.
Then do you have power? He laughed, a beauty that could overthrow nations, filling the room with an alluring charm.
Yes.
Is your potential great? Under the twilight, they were laughing heartily. Whether those things are remembered or not, it all seemed to matter no more. Xiaoliu thought that the next time he saw himself, he would definitely remember. But life is unpredictable. And when Feng Changgong met the Enchanting One again, he still forgot him. Yet, he still couldn't recall who he truly was. Xiaoliu gave a self-deprecating smile. His disappointment in Star Diamond's contact lenses indescribable. Xu Ronghao lay on the bed, her face still pale, lacking any color. Yao Ning sat by her bedside, accompanying her, clad in an unchanging red gown, as vibrant as fire and blood. Xu Rong held his hand, telling him of Brother Sha's kindness, and Brother Sha's handsomeness, a blush of shyness coloring her face. Wei Ru sighed, and said softly, as if in lament,
"The prince consort is finally coming, and the princess is very happy."
Xiaoliu was taken aback, perhaps surprised that Bei Ru would speak to him, and couldn't help but ask, "Don't you hate me anymore? Have you forgiven me?"
Yes, the princess said she forgave you. Otherwise, I wouldn't blame you.
Princess Xirong is truly kind. A fragile yet stubborn princess, knowing that the Prince of Xia wouldn't love her, yet she insisted on marrying him. What kind of person is Princess Xirong? Really? Beiyou smiled, her face full of pride.
The princess said, within her limited life, she wanted to do what she wished, and not wait until she regretted it later. There are many things you haven't tried, and even if you gave up, you wouldn't be content. The princess also said, treat everyone with an inclusive heart, and find joy in seeing others. Smile with contentment. It makes me happy too. So, I don't blame you anymore.
Princess Xirong, such a wonderful person. I believe Prince Ya will surely fall in love with her. Xiaoliu想了想, and turned his gaze to Xirong. He saw him chatting joyfully with the demon, a young maiden. Her thoughts were all written on her delicate face. So beautiful, a shy smile. Even the demon's face softened a little unconsciously. Xiaoliu heard Xirong ask shyly,
Brother Ningshang, do you think Brother Xia would like Xirong?
Hua Mushen, that is the demon that Xiaoliu speaks of.
Our Xirong is so lovely, everyone would like Xirong.
Xirong smiled shyly. A blush of red bloomed on her pale face. Are the prince and princess born of the same mother?
Yes, the prince and princess are from the same mother.
Hua Mushen, Hua Xiurong, from the same mother. No wonder their bond is so strong. It is just that the demon, who never seems to remember any woman, would remember his own sister. He went downstairs wanting to ask, but in the end, he still didn't speak. When the demon left, Xiaoliu was standing at the main entrance. He walked past him without even glancing his way, his steps unwavering, treating Xiaoliu as if he were air. Xiaoliu felt extremely disappointed. Why can't he remember me yet? It seems I need to think of another way to make him truly remember me. This feeling of being ignored is utterly frustrating. The next day, Xiaoliu was still enjoying a lie in the handyman's quarters when Liu Bai came knocking early in the morning. Xiaoliu was still groggy with sleep. Divine doctor, you're quite wicked. Always doing things that disturb a good sleep.
Miss Xia, I have something I wish to ask you, and would greatly appreciate your guidance.
Miraculously, the divine doctor didn't retort. Instead, she bowed respectfully to Xiaoliu. To be honest, I don't actually know that much. There is not much to say. But whatever I do know, I will answer one by one.
Thank you, Miss Xia, for that.
Don't thank me yet. What I know probably won't be of much help to you. This condition, known medically as albinism, is an extremely difficult case to treat. Honestly, Ye doesn't have much hope. It is not that there isn't much hope. It is that there is truly no hope at all. She shook her head as if sighing. In fact, Ye is quite fortunate compared to some others. That is already considered very fortunate.
As long as there is a sliver of hope, I won't give up.
What if I told you there is not even a sliver of hope? Hearing that Liu Bai's fingertips were pale, his expression suddenly turned grim. My master was also a renowned physician, even revered as a medical saint. Legend has it that there was no one he couldn't cure. Yet, throughout his entire life, he couldn't figure out how to treat albinism. It is not that I want to discourage you. I'm just telling you the truth. Even with such advanced medical technology, and even in the 21st century, there is no cure. How could this ancient era possibly have one?
May I ask where Miss Xia has gone?
Before my master passed away, he made me swear a solemn oath that I would never reveal his name to anyone in this life. I cannot do anything about this. Furthermore, my master has long since passed away, so even if you knew, it wouldn't change anything. However, what I can tell you is this. My master was an incredibly famous and a skilled physician. Xia Liu felt he wouldn't even blush now if he were to lie. It seems his brazenness is growing. Liu Bai didn't press further, as his previous excitement was now replaced by disappointment and even despair.
In that case, Liu shall not trouble Miss Xia any further.
After Liu Bai had gone a distance, Xia Liu Diu. Just as he was about to doze off again, he suddenly heard a voice.
Little liar, your ability to deceive has become truly profound. You almost fooled even me.
Xia Liu turned around and saw the dog emperor in the dragon robe give him a stern look. He said fiercely, "What did I lie to you about? All my knowledge is genuine. I couldn't exactly tell a divine doctor that I'm not from this world, could I?"
Why would you tell me then?
It is because you forced me to. If he hadn't pushed me, how could I have possibly told you?
Aren't you afraid I'll accuse you of playing tricks?
Yes, of course I am. But you believe me now, don't you? If I didn't believe you, why would I have taken your bag? The emperor smiled faintly, then changed the subject.
How did you know what illness concubine Yi had?
Well, in my world, we have many cases like this. If you don't believe me, you can bring me my bag, and I'll prove it to you. The emperor glanced at Xia Liu and snapped his fingers. Shortly after, a eunuch brought his bag. Xia Liu silent. The efficiency of these servants is truly remarkable. Then, Xia Liu skillfully opened his laptop and typed in albinism. Xia Liu clicked on the image tab and turned the screen to show the emperor. See, I wasn't lying to you. Take a look for yourself. Honestly, he wondered if this old antique could even comprehend it. After a moment,
the emperor asked, "Is there truly no cure?"
You don't need to be so despairing. Although it can't be cured, this condition doesn't shorten one's lifespan. Even though it can't be cured, concubine Yi can still be by the dog emperor's side. It is just a pity for them. They can't have children. Albinism is hereditary. That is why they can't conceive. Although concubine, Yi cannot bear children for you, but you have other consorts who can give birth. The emperor's expression shifted unpredictably in an instant. That handsome face darkened and grew heavy, then heavy and dark again. Could I have said something wrong again? Xia Liu began to reflect, only to hear the emperor suddenly whisper,
"Give me a child. Give me a child."
Xia Liu's eyes widened in disbelief.
Impossible!
Although Yi Fei can't bear you a child, aren't there many other consorts in the palace? You can't just grab anyone and make them have a child for you, can you? Besides, you should have many years left. You won't be passing away so soon. So, having a child is not something to rush. And you can't just find anyone to have a child with, honestly. Xia Liu wondered if the tyrant had taken the wrong medicine.
I was merely speaking casually, and you don't need to be in such a rush to deny it. Watch out. I can take your head at any moment.
The emperor waved his hand impatiently, his usually serene brows turning instantly grim and terrifying. I merely asked him to have a child for me.
What is with that expression? There are countless women in the world who wish to bear him children. This one truly doesn't know what is good for her. Hua Zhiyan shot him a cold, emotionless glare, brushed his sleeves, and turned to leave. Seeing the emperor walk away, Xiaoliu finally let out a deep sigh of relief. That was close. The tyrant's expression just now was terrifying, as if a demon was about to claim my life at any moment. I really need to find a way to escape this place quickly. If I stay here any longer, who knows when my life will be over? What should I do? What then? 2 days passed. Xiaoliu observed that the palace maids were all quite busy. Upon inquiring, he learned that the crown prince of the Xia kingdom had arrived. The crown prince of Xia kingdom is here. He is here to marry Princess Xurong. What a fortunate occasion. Xiaoliu felt pleased. The palace will likely be very busy in the next couple of days. Perhaps I can seize the opportunity to slip away. I don't want to stay in the palace any longer. While some moments are amusing, my life's safety is the absolute prerequisite. Besides, Xiaoliu doesn't want to be a concubine. What if, over time, the emperor takes a liking to me? Even if it wasn't for rejecting him like this, he would surely feel his dignity was hurt. No matter how I look at it, it is not secure. It's better to leave early. Having made up his mind, he went downstairs and stopped dwelling on it. He excitedly rushed to Fengcheng Palace. Still far away and not yet inside, he heard crying. Upon entering, he saw the sobbing figure was indeed Princess Xurong. What is wrong, Princess? Beirou also looked troubled, her delicate eyebrows slightly furrowed.
The prince consort is arriving.
Isn't that a good thing? Could Princess Xurong be crying tears of joy? After a moment, he heard Beirou say again,
The prince also brought a woman.
His heart skipped a beat. No wonder the princess is heartbroken. She hasn't even married him yet. And he is brazenly bringing another woman. This prince of Xia is certainly no good. Princess, please don't cry. Although the prince consort brought another woman, that woman may not necessarily be involved with him. Perhaps that woman is just his maid. Xurong's delicate brows were slightly furrowed, her face pale. Water droplets still clung to her eyelashes. She looked up at Xiaoliu and said softly,
But, Brother Xia, he never brought women with him before. This time, is it different?
What is different? You can't just jump to conclusions because he brought a woman. Even if he wants to bring women, you can't stop him. Men are often like this, always so fickle. It is in their nature. Didn't ancient times advocate having multiple wives and concubines? Why should Princess Xurong concern herself with him? Besides, it was her own wishful thinking to marry the crown prince of Xia. Wasn't this situation to be expected? Princess, the crown prince is entitled to multiple wives and concubines. That is the norm. This will surely happen again in the future. If he doesn't truly care about you, your sorrow and grief will go unnoticed by him. If he does care about you, he wouldn't bear to see you upset.
Miss Xia, did I do something wrong? Miss Xia, did I do something wrong? I simply admired her, so I asked the emperor's brother to propose marriage and forced her to marry me. But I truly love her. Did I do something wrong?
Princess, love is not a scheme, nor can it be forced. If I were a man and forced to marry a woman, I would be unhappy too.
Then what should I do?
She offered a strained smile, looking a bit lost. It all depends on what you, the princess, decide to do.
What should I do?
Retreat to advance.
A few days later, 舍荣感到by the Chenxin dedicated care was almost recovered. And at this moment, the crown prince of Xia arrived in grand fashion with a beauty like a blooming flower.
Not as enchanting as your smiling silhouette in the breeze, perhaps destined to fulfill the affections in your brows. And I, who have forsaken worldly affections, shall pen the passing years of my life with a light red thread, quiet and silent, awakening to hold the imprint within my heart.
Xia Liu had intended to find an excuse to sneak into the emperor's study at this moment. But little did he know that, before he could even approach, the emperor had already come looking for him, looking at the man before him, who smiled like a fox. Xia Liu 直接地问, intuitively asked, "Have you lost your mind? What are you looking for me for, when you have nothing better to do? The main thing is that you have nothing to do and you're smiling like a fox. What is up?" His smile always gave Xia Liu a bad premonition.
Little liar. To prevent you from having any chance to escape, you must follow me.
Hearing the emperor say this, Xia Liu almost floated with joy. This was exactly what he wanted. Yet, he could only feign reluctance and ask, "Is it absolutely necessary for me to follow? Look, my luggage is still with you, and the palace is heavily guarded. Where could I possibly escape to?"
It is fine if you don't want to follow.
Xia Liu wui. Speechless, he had miscalculated. How could this tyrant possibly let him off so easily? Then, the emperor's tone shifted, and he said with a sinister air,
"No. Just trust me one more time, okay? I will arrange for someone to take good care of you."
Xia Liu noticed the emphasis the emperor put on the word "take care of," and his tone grew more serious. "All right, I'll follow you then." The emperor smiled with satisfaction and turned to leave with a flourish. As soon as the emperor left, Xia Liu jumped for joy, practically reaching the ceiling. He came to my door himself, so I can't be blamed for this. Xia Liu was jumping and skipping around the room, while at this moment, Hua Jian outside the door curled his lips into a smile. What a little liar. He can really fool people. If I hadn't stayed here a few minutes longer, I wouldn't have known how happy he was. Little liar, you can't be so deceitful. It seems I have to help him mend his ways and teach him the price of deception. The emperor hosted a welcoming banquet for the crown prince of Xia. Xia Liu was also led to the imperial study by Xi Yin in the evening. Inside the room, the emperor was engrossed in reviewing official documents. They say a man focused on his work is most attractive. It seems that saying is absolutely true. Xia Liu stared intently, observing the emperor. He watched as the emperor's brow furrowed at times, then fell into deep thought.
Little imposter. You see, I've been watching you for quite a while. So, what do you think? Don't you think I'm dashing and debonair, handsome and elegant?
He rolled his eyes and said, "Among the 10 types of men nobody cares for, one of them is an arrogant man whom even dogs ignore. Your Majesty, you truly are arrogant." The emperor's face grew darker and darker. How dare this little impostor compare him to a dog? Outrageous! As the ruler of a nation, how could he allow himself to be casually insulted? Suddenly, he let out a cold laugh and asked Xi Yin,
To insult the current emperor is a crime punishable by death.
Hearing the emperor's question, Xia Liu's face immediately paled.
Your Majesty, it is a crime punishable by death.
It is a crime punishable by death. Wasn't I just making a casual joke? As an emperor, is it necessary for you to be so petty?
Little impostor, let me tell you something. Some things can be said, some things cannot be said. And also, some thoughts you shouldn't have, you'd best not entertain. I have told you, if you wish to flee, you must go so far away that you are out of my sight forever. Otherwise, I will let you know what is worse than death is to wish you were dead.
Did you do that on purpose? Are you trying to scheme against me? But he no longer dared to curse him. After all, Xia Liu was just a coward. But he was unwilling. This blasted emperor had schemed against him and had seen right through his character.
Little cheat, be it scheming or guessing. I just want to teach you a lesson.
As he spoke, he waved his hand and ordered outside.
20 lashes will be administered here.
As soon as the words were spoken, guards immediately entered with a narrow bench and a board. Seeing this, Xia Liu suddenly felt that this emperor was not to be underestimated. How long had he known him? That he had already arranged everything and guided him so carefully. Your Highness, Please overlook my minor faults and spare me. I only said something wrong and didn't do anything to betray the country. How can you resort to cruel punishment? Besides, I'm not even from this country. Why does this blasted emperor have the right to do this?
Little cheat. Why don't you understand? I have made up my mind today to punish you. Do you think begging for mercy afterward will be enough?
Hearing that, Shalu was no longer struggling. He just felt a chill deep in his heart. Indeed, the emperor had decided to punish him, and even if he begged, he would not show mercy. The guard easily pulled Shalu onto the bench. Shalu was forced to lie down, and the wooden board, as thick as an arm, fell upon him, making a slapping sound. When Shalu became stubborn, he was quite something. Just to beat him to death, the child just gritted his teeth and remained silent. Although he didn't make a sound, tears streamed down his face uncontrollably. Shalu's vision blurred, and he stopped looking at the emperor. He decided to ignore him from now on, to completely disregard him. The emperor lowered his head to review the memorials, and finally, upon finishing the last one, he put down his brush. The terror-streaked face of this little cheat assaulted his vision. He sighed. He feigned indifference, lowering his head, and began to handle state affairs.
Stop. Assistant.
Just 2 words carried with nonchalance and casualness. No one dared to disobey him, and no one would be audacious enough to do such a thing. He looked up unexpectedly, that fiery red attire catching his eye. That was his most cherished emperor, Hua Mushen.
Your Majesty,
why have you come?
It was somewhat unexpected. Although the 2 brothers had a good relationship, normally, when there was nothing specific, Hua Mushen rarely took the initiative to visit him. Although he held military power, he did not attend court. He was essentially a carefree prince. Hua Mushen smiled, his intoxicating peach blossom eyes hazy.
Huangxiang, I've come to play the hero and save the damsel, so you must give me this chance.
The emperor was a little surprised and quite puzzled.
When did you get involved with this little liar?
He recalled that Hua Mushen had never remembered any woman.
Little liar.
Hua Mushen Yizheng was taken aback. Then he narrowed his eyes slightly. His intoxicating peach blossom eyes flickered with a subtle, fleeting glint.
I don't know any little liar. I simply wish to be the hero saving the damsel.
Hearing this, the emperor's face did not darken, but his own face, the vulgar one, had darkened considerably. It seemed this monster hadn't come to save him, but rather, whatever caught his eye, he would simply act upon it. He had originally thought that Hua Mushen still remembered him, which was why he wanted to be the hero saving the damsel now. But it turned out to be just like this. He sighed as he went downstairs. The beating with the board was about done. It didn't matter if it was old or not. But hearing the monster say that, he felt a slight discomfort in his heart.
This little liar. I've made up my mind today to teach him a good lesson. Your Majesty, there will be plenty of other chances for a hero to save the damsel. Let's skip this one.
The emperor waved his hand dismissively, showing little concern. Had it been anyone else, he might have let them go. But this little liar, he was determined to teach a lesson today. Demon Hua Mushen was not particularly bothered. He waved his hand and walked away with a flourish. Shelley was still watching, his star-like eyes flickering. The emperor had already spoken.
Continue the punishment until it is complete.
Xiaoliu felt like crying, but had no tears. His hands clenched tightly to the bench. This dog emperor must have killed my entire family in a past life. Otherwise, why is he so against me? The punishment is complete.
Everyone, leave.
Xiaoliu clutched his sore buttocks, tears welling up in his eyes. As Xiaoliu was about to get up, the emperor added,
Little liar, you stay.
Your Majesty, do you need something else?
You're learning.
His brows relaxed, and the emperor burst into unrestrained laughter.
Little liar, Come here.
If you laugh yourself to death, I hope you curse me in your heart. Xiaolu scurried over and stood in place.
The emperor was in high spirits.
He instructed someone to move him closer.
It was already quite close, and any closer would be dangerous.
Xiaolu's hands trembled, and he looked at the emperor guardedly, uttering a classic line. What do you want? Don't do anything rash.
What are you thinking now?
The emperor's lips twitched.
I'll come over.
Xiaolu stood his ground, refusing to move, even if threatened with death. The emperor reached out and pulled, and Xiaolu lost his balance. He directly fell onto the emperor. He could clearly feel the tremors in the emperor's chest. He said with a smile,
That would be strange.
As he said this, he held her tightly with one hand, while his other hand restlessly began to lift her skirt. Began to untie his belt. Xiaolu's face turned ashen with fright, her body trembling uncontrollably.
Don't do anything reckless.
I'm warning you, this is assault. Xiaolu suddenly looked up, only to hear a muffled groan, then a sharp pain in her head, followed by the emperor's deep voice, cold and filled with rage.
Damn it. What are you doing? I'm merely applying medicine to you. What kind of thoughts constantly fill your head? So chaotic! Rape? How could you even think of such a thing? Do you think I would resort to force with you? What woman do I desire that I cannot have? If I wanted one, even if I used force, what could you do about it?
It was only then that Xiaolu realized that her forceful collision just now had directly hit the emperor's chin, and her own head was in so much pain,
let alone the tyrant's chin.
No wonder he was so furious.
But then, again, don't you think about me? How can you apply medicine to me?
A girl, can that area be shown to you so casually? Even when applying medicine, there should be boundaries. And also, don't think that just because you slapped me and offer me candy, I will forgive you. He was so angry, this dog. Emperor, applying medicine. Applying medicine should also consider the occasion, right?
Where is he injured?
The hips. Oh my God. Just as Xiaolu was about to cry tears of despair, the emperor unfastened her lower body belt. His fingers, dipped in medicine, were already applied directly. Forcing down the urge to jump up, Xiaolu could only grudgingly let the emperor apply the medicine. What should have been seen had been seen, and the medicine had already been applied. It is no use crying and shouting anymore, is it? Feeling the emperor's hand gently brushing over her hip, bringing a hint of coolness. The pain in her hip eased slightly. Lued, both embarrassed and furious, she remained silent instead. Cleverly, she stopped struggling.
What if you take a look? Sooner or later, you will have to return to guard your son. Whether you forgive me or not is your business. I never said I needed your forgiveness.
Xiaolu felt a breath stuck in his throat, unable to come out and unable to go down.
Xiaolu, even if I don't have children in this life, will absolutely not bear one for you.
That is not up to you.
We'll see.
Fine.
His chest heaved violently, and the flames of Xiaolu's anger surged, his arms trembling. Finally, Xiaolu calmed his anger. He put on a smile like a flower and asked the emperor,
Have you fallen in love with me? Is that why you insist that I bear a child for you?
If I truly fancy you, I will definitely tell you myself. But for now, I only want you to bear a child for me.
Can't the concubines in your palace bear children?
The emperor looked up at him and said softly,
I do not wish to so indiscriminately.
I thought you were impotent.
We can try.
In the evening, the welcome banquet for the Crown Prince of Xia was held as scheduled in Fengxi Hall. At the banquet, wine cups clinked and conversation flowed, a scene of elegance and beauty. Xiaolu finally saw the legendary Crown Prince of Xia. He was a beauty with an extraordinary aura, possessing long, seaweed-like hair and unique emerald green eyes. When those eyes looked at someone, there was always a hint of arrogance, a touch of rebelliousness, a touch of wildness. Such a beauty. It is no wonder one would be smitten, let alone her. How could such a person be obedient and compliant? Marrying her would be strange indeed. Just looking at the arrogance in her eyes, Wu Hui knew who he was supposed to marry to be obedient, which was completely impossible. No wonder they embarrassed you. No wonder they brought beauties here. The emperor and Yi Fei sat in the main seats, and the banquet was filled with applause. Wu Hui stood behind, fanning Hua Zhiyan, his feet unable to move, his hands unable to tremble. He also had to endure the pain in his buttocks. What was even more hateful was that the only chance to escape had just slipped away. Princess Xurong, clad in white, descended like an ethereal fairy from the heavens, untouched by the mundane world. Her exquisite face, pale yet exuding a gentle and dignified aura. Her phoenix eyes sparkled, their gaze as serene as water. She was, truly, a peerless beauty, as all eyes turned to the princess. Xiaolu instinctively glanced at the crown prince of Xia. He saw a fleeting trace of impatience flash in the prince's green eyes, though it vanished in an instant. It was nonetheless noticed by Xiaolu. It was impatience, not disgust. Xiaolu inwardly exclaimed, "There is potential." He turned his head, a smile playing on his lips. Xurong walked forward, eyes straight ahead, towards the center. As she passed by the crown prince of Xia, Xiaolu caught the prince's gaze, which trembled slightly. She did not even spare a glance towards the crown prince, but knelt directly and declared loudly to the emperor,
"Your imperial brother, I have a request."
The emperor waved his hand and smiled.
Xurong, what is it must you tell me today?
The emperor pressed. The once lively hall fell into silence. Most of the attendees were looking at Xurong, who calmly said,
"Today, with Brother Xia, the crown prince present, Xurong wishes to personally request that your imperial brother annul the marriage contract."
As soon as Xurong finished speaking, the already silent hall grew even quieter. Xiaolu stood observing, secretly cheering Xurong on with his gaze, while also stealing glances at the crown prince of Xia. He noticed the prince frowning, his expression tinged with a hint of bewilderment. Xiaolu chuckled inwardly. The princess's plan to win her husband's heart has only just begun. The emperor was taken aback, fleeting.
A smile. What is the reason? Having become a princess, you should know that a marriage between two nations is no child's play, especially one that can be broken off so readily.
What Xurong said is not child's play. I only wish for my imperial brother to grant it, to let the crown prince go, and to let Xurong go as well.
What is the reason?
Prince Xia had no intention towards Xurong. It was Yirong who was persistently pursuing him. Now that half a year has passed, Prince Xia still dislikes Xurong. I believe Prince Xia must already have someone he likes. Therefore, Xurong is asking imperial brother to dissolve the engagement, to spare the crown prince, and to spare Xurong as well.
The emperor looked at Prince Xia and asked,
"What are your thoughts on this matter, Your Highness?"
Prince Xia curled his lips into a smile, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. He bowed respectfully and said,
"Whether to agree or not, there are few things I can decide. What about my father?"
Before he could finish speaking, a desolate smile interrupted him.
It is fine if the crown prince agrees. As for King Xia, I, Xurong, will personally go and apologize.
Prince Xia glanced over, his smile inscrutable. Xiaolu watched from above, exclaiming with amusement, "This Prince of Xia is indeed a clever person. I wonder if Xurong's plan to win him over will work. And it has been half a year. After half a year, the crown prince still hasn't fallen for Xurong. What could be the success rate of this plan?" At this moment, everyone in the hall wore different expressions, deep in thought. The emperor found an excuse and took Yi Fei to leave the banquet early and go downstairs. Naturally, he followed closely behind.
The emperor is very happy.
Xiaolu handed his fan to the eunuch and eagerly asked, "What did he say?"
The emperor is smiling.
Anyone could see the emperor's expression, so overjoyed. So he was indeed genuinely happy. But what could have made him so happy? Xiaolu was taken aback and looked at Ziyin. She pursed her lips slightly, her expression unreadable. Could this Ziyin actually like the dog emperor? Anyone can see the emperor's expression. He is positively beaming, so he is genuinely happy. But what could possibly make him this happy? The emperor ahead suddenly stopped, beckoning.
Little liar, come here.
Xiaolu's lips twitched. What was he up to now? Despite his reluctance, he had no choice but to hurry over. He said with clear displeasure, "What is your majesty's command?"
It is nothing. I won't tell you.
He is not calling my name.
What did you say? Xiaolu?
His hand trembled slightly, and he truthfully reported. Xiaolu.
Xiaolu.
The emperor snorted, a smirk playing on his lips.
Not as interesting as Little Liar.
Xiaolu thought, compared to being called Little Liar, I'd almost prefer to be Xiaolu.
Right.
The emperor took a couple of steps, saying,
The scullery or the imperial study, you choose.
Upon hearing this, Xiaolu immediately turned towards the scullery without a second thought.
To the dungeon of the imperial study.
Xiaolu stopped in his tracks, gritted his teeth, and grudgingly continued towards the scullery. The fourth master's steps faltered slightly. Xiaolu cursed. "Oh, Emperor, you dare to threaten me!" He glanced sideways at the emperor, his expression as devious as a night goblin. Before the emperor could utter another word, he spinelessly changed his course. "Alas, who am I to defy him when my life is in his hands?" Hua Zhiyan said with a smile, slowly walking towards the imperial study. "Who cares? It is not like I'm going to his private chambers. It is just the imperial study." Xiaolu could only try to comfort himself this way, hoping his steps wouldn't feel so heavy.
Little bottle.
Here.
Little liar.
Here.
Oh, little liar.
I'm here. The dog emperor walked into the imperial study, all smiles. Xiaolu followed behind, feeling utterly dejected. This is clearly a scoundrel, isn't it? Night. Xiaolu watched the emperor pore over memorials all day. Seeing that the emperor showed no sign of resting, Xiaolu secretly yawned. You want to sleep, huh? I really want to sleep. Too bad. The emperor had no intention of letting him go yet. The emperor glanced at Xiaolu. His face full of sleepiness, he said kindly.
Go to sleep.
Upon hearing this, Xiaolu yiqing. His eyes lit up instantly. He nodded directly and started to walk out.
Little liar. Where do you think you're going?
Xiaolu chuckled dryly. To sleep, of course. Didn't you just agree? What? Are you going back on your word?
I did agree for you to go to sleep, but...
He gestured behind him.
Your bed is over there.
Xiaolu followed his gesture and looked. In the dim light, he only saw the enormous dragon bed. Sleep here. You want me to sleep on the dragon bed?
Yes. What is wrong with that?
I won't sleep even if you kill me.
Want to sleep on my dragon bed? You're still a long way off.
Then where do you want me to sleep? The emperor raised his finger, pointing to the small chair next to the dragon bed, and said lazily,
Stand here and keep watch for me.
Xiaolu moved his lips, but before he could speak, the emperor added,
This chair is specially prepared for you. If you get tired, I permit you to go up and rest a bit.
Didn't you just say I could sleep? Xiaolu felt like crying, but had no tears. That little bit of sleepiness had already been scared away by anger.
Yes.
Then now!
I've changed my mind. Is that not allowed?
What else can he say now? Can he refuse? Xia Liu thought. What kind of emperor is this? This is clearly a ruffian, isn't it? 2 more quarter hours passed. Xia Liu looked at the emperor sleeping on the bed, his hands trembling with rage. The surroundings were silent, all sounds stilled in the night. Gazing at the flickering lamplight in the room, and the emperor sleeping soundly on the bed, and then at himself, a profound sense of desolation welled up in Xia Liu's heart. Why was he the one suffering, beaten half to death, while others enjoyed good food, drink, and sleep? Why was he the one to be mistreated? As he pondered, sorrow overwhelmed him. Tears began to stream down his face uncontrollably. Xia Liu choked back a sob, his feet aching from standing all night. Worse still, his backside throbbed with pain, making it impossible to even sit. For a moment, he could only squat on the floor, lost in his grief. In the 21st century, how could he ever have endured such injustice? He had never even been struck before, but upon arriving here, not only was he beaten within an inch of his life, but he constantly had to fear for his very existence. The accumulated resentment of days past, suppressed for so long, finally erupted, finding release in tears he could no longer contain. He bit his lip fiercely, not wanting to wake the dog emperor, lest he be mocked again later. But as he cried, he wondered why he should care about the emperor's opinion. With that thought, he finally stopped holding back, and sobbed aloud. The choked sobs emanating from his throat in the silent night sounded profoundly desolate. Suddenly, a sigh echoed through the darkness. Xia Liu froze, raising his head. His waist was suddenly embraced, and he was drawn onto the bed. Just as he tried to resist, he heard the emperor's voice, extremely low, say, very gentle,
Sleep now.
He tried to move, but couldn't struggle free. So he buried his head in the quilt and cried his heart out. He was still worried about what the dog emperor might do to him, so his body remained tense and unrelaxed. After a long while, he heard the steady breathing beside him. Realizing the emperor had fallen sound asleep, only then did he glare at him fiercely, unable to fight off the sleepiness. He thought to himself, he would just make do for the night. And so he drifted off to sleep without realizing it. Wait until Xia Liu falls asleep. The emperor suddenly opened his eyes, looking at the person in his arms with disbelief, especially his own hands, which were still fixed on his waist. He hadn't looked away for a long time. After a long time, he finally closed his eyes and started to sleep. Early in the morning, when Xia Liu woke up, the side of the bed was already empty. That dog emperor had obviously already gone to the morning court. He glanced outside, and it was already bright outside.
Awake.
Then, Xi Yin's voice came over. To wake up in someone else's bed so early in the morning really gave me a fright.
All right.
At this moment, Xia Liu just wanted to find a hole to hide in.
When you're awake, go wash up first. This servant has saved some breakfast for you.
Xia Liu called to Xi Yin and planted a big kiss on his face.
Thank you, Xi Yin.
Xi Yin's body stiffened, and the corners of his mouth began to twitch. Xia Liu burst out laughing. Ignoring his awkwardness, he took a look at himself. His clothes were intact. It seemed that dog emperor was quite a gentleman, not having done anything he shouldn't have. Xia Liu thought, I can finally say I'm someone who has been on the dragon bed. I don't know how this will spread in the palace from now on, but who cares? I'm innocent, and that is what matters. Breakfast was eaten in the imperial study. At the entrance to the imperial study, after finishing, Xia Liu was about to slip back to the handyman's quarters while no one was looking, when the dog emperor returned from court. At that moment, Xia Liu was sneakily observing the situation, when suddenly, the emperor's voice reached him.
Little liar, what are you up to now?
Xia Liu was startled, and glancing sideways, it was none other than that dog emperor. Seeing the smile on his face, his pupils dark, he seemed to be in a good mood. Look at his smile. His eyes are dark and piercing, and he seems to be in a good mood. Xia Liu was confused. The emperor frowned and called out again, Little eunuch, are you there?
What are you thinking about now?
I'm preparing to visit Princess Xurong.
He decided once Princess Yizhong's matter was settled, he would leave.
Didn't this tyrant say it too? As long as Princess Xurong forgave him, and his injuries healed, proving his innocence, he would be able to leave. During this time, the Dog Emperor had sent many people to monitor him. He really thought she knew nothing.
Go ahead.
Unexpectedly, the Emperor did not object. He just looked at Sha Liu with a strange expression. What was strange about it? Sha Liu himself couldn't quite grasp. He inexplicably recalled what had happened last night. Sha Liu gave him an awkward glare, then eagerly headed towards Fengcheng. He walked towards the palace. The Emperor watched Xia Liu's retreating back with an unreadable expression, his brows furrowing unconsciously. He turned to Xi Yin, who was standing by, and ordered,
Summon Liu Bai.
When Liu Bai arrived, the Emperor's brow was deeply furrowed. He was deep in thought. Liu Bai bowed slightly. Seeing no reaction from the Emperor, he cleared his throat twice.
What are you thinking about?
Hua Zhi's words were absent-minded, muttering.
Found it. You really found it.
Liu Bai frowned, remaining silent.
You didn't reject her at all. From the very beginning, you didn't reject her.
It was Miss Xia.
Liu Bai's eyes lit up. A pleasant surprise flashed in his eyes. The Emperor nodded. Then he shook his head again.
I don't know why I don't find him repulsive, or why I can sleep holding him.
Isn't that a good thing? At least, there is finally someone you don't find repulsive.
Liu Bai smiled, and was also very happy. For so many years, concubines have entered the palace one after another, but I could never find the one I didn't find repulsive. Now, finally, there is one. Shouldn't I be happy?
I hope you truly hold on to each other.
I hope so.
The Emperor smiled too, but his expression remained troubled. He is a little trickster. And I don't dislike him. Most importantly, I don't reject him. Should I keep him? Perhaps I should. The drawn-like brows finally relaxed. After contemplating all night, she made up her mind, no longer bewildered. Meanwhile, Sha Liu had no idea that the moment he fell into the Fangluan dynasty, his fate had already undergone a colossal shift. Now, Sha Liu's at Fengcheng Palace, executing a series of hunting plans with Princess Xurong. Beiru listened on the side, frowning and said,
What if she humiliates the princess?
Sha Liu waved his hand. It is fine if she says something unpleasant. Haven't you heard that a woman pursuing a man is like a thin veil? If the princess wants to win her husband, she must be thick-skinned. Otherwise, love won't come to her on its own. So, princess, no matter what harsh words she says, you must ignore them when one day she stops scolding you. Love will be within reach. Princess Xurong bit her lip, a flush of shyness on her face.
What if Brother Sha comes to dislike Xurong even more? What should I do?
He wore a worried expression. If Brother Xia starts to dislike me more and more, will I be able to continue? Every time he saw his indifference, it was incredibly painful for him. There is nothing to be done about it. If you want to win your husband, you have to pay a certain price. As I said, you need to be thick-skinned. And from what I can see, Prince Xia doesn't truly hate you. Now that the marriage has been dissolved, she doesn't need to act superior to you. After all, you are a princess of the kingdom. What right does she have to look down on you? In the realm of love, no one can ever look down on another. Just to do as I've told you. And I guarantee you'll win his heart. Xurong frowned, still feeling hesitant. Sha Liu could only continue to persuade her earnestly. If you truly feel embarrassed, then so be it. Just watch as your brother Xia misses his chance with you, and then marries another woman. When he returns to the Xia kingdom, you'll never see him again. He said, shaking his head, with a look of pity.
And a full heart.
In the afternoon, Xia Liu and the princess prepared some delicacies together. Then they, along with Bei Rao, excitedly led Xurong to Prince Xia's residence. The Hall of Stars. Upon arriving at the Hall of Stars, Shurong's previous nervousness and excitement seemed to have settled down a little. She clutched the food box in her hands.
I'll go in first. You wait for me here. I'll be out soon.
Go ahead, go ahead. We'll wait for you here. Xiaoliu smiled and waved his hand. As Xirong entered, Prince Xia was standing with his back to the door. She was tall, with fair skin, but without any feminine air. Instead, she possessed a heroic demeanor. The prince turned and spoke softly, his voice gentle, sweet, and endearing. But it was no longer like before, filled with so much admiration and infatuation. Prince Xia turned around, glanced at Shurong, and nodded slightly. Shurong offered a faint smile, 2 dimples appearing on her delicate face.
I was young and foolish before, always thinking that if I just got a little closer, just a little bit closer, Brother Xia would surely notice me. But now, half a year has passed, and I realize it was just me being wishful. Perhaps Brother Xia has always disliked me. So today Shurong has come, just to apologize to Brother Xia. Brother Xia, I am so sorry. Everything in the past was my fault. From this day forward, Brother Xia can marry the woman he loves, and Shurong will find a man who loves her, one who cherishes her wholeheartedly. I will never bother Brother Xia again. After all, one-sided love can be painful and exhausting. Now that the engagement is broken, it is perhaps for the best, for both of us.
With that, without waiting for Prince Yixia to speak, she handed over the food box she was holding.
This is a snack that Shurong made herself. If you don't mind, Brother Xia, please try some. And if you don't wish to keep it, that is fine too.
Shurong bowed and smiled. She then softly excused herself.
Thus, Shurong will take her leave now and will not trouble Prince Xia any further.
With that said, she left without hesitation. Prince Xia held the food box in his hand and opened his mouth. But before he could utter a word, the woman's figure had already vanished around the corner. Saw Shurong come out. Xia Liuyu and Beiru looked excited. They ran over. How did it go? How did it go? Did he say anything?
I came out before I could even wait for him to speak. I came out.
What was his expression like? Did he try to keep you?
He was always expressionless.
Expressionless and profound. Xia Liu patted his chest with bravado, promising, "It is okay. At least he didn't scold you away or drive you away, right? Besides, it is only the first day. There is plenty of time in the future."
It is all right. Yes, our princess is so wonderful, and she cares so much for Prince Xia. He'll surely notice you eventually.
Beiru chimed in with a smile.
Shurong will never give up. Let's head back to Fengcheng Palace first.
They say 3 women can put on a show, and these 3 women together are quite something. They're quite a sight. When Xia Liu walked out of the Flattery Palace, he immediately spotted the demon in red. The demon was leaning against the wall, smiling. Xia Liu walked over and nudged his chest. "Hi, we meet again. Are you here to see Shurong?" Xia Liu had a tragic realization that every encounter with the demon felt like a new introduction. "You demon, why can't you remember any woman?" It is truly heartbreaking. The demon curled his lips.
I was waiting for you.
"You recognize me. You remember me." He reached out his hands and pulled him into a strong embrace around his waist, his head buried on Xia Liu's chest. He inhaled deeply. Then he looked up and smiled enchantingly.
I still remember this scent.
Xia Liu didn't push him away, but was startled. Why could he remember the scent, but not him? Hua Mushen, besides the scent, what else do you remember about me?
I lend you 1,000 nights.
Hua Mushen, besides this fragrance, what else do you remember about me? He remained silent, and Xia Liu felt a little disappointed.
Do you always chase men like this?
Xia Liu was taken aback, then shot him a fierce glare. "I've never chased anyone before."
Then how do you know so much? and even taught Shurong how to chase men.
Haven't you heard the saying? There is nothing you can't imagine, only what you can't achieve. Back when he used to write books, he was so imaginative, writing whatever came to mind. Hua Mu-shen held her tighter, almost face to face. Xia Liu felt her heart race, blushing shamelessly. Their eyes met, with no space between them. Xia Liu stared at him, and her vibrant red lips bit straight down. It was a bite, not a kiss. She stared at him greedily, and said fiercely, Hua Mu-shen, you must, absolutely must remember me. Remember, my name is Xia Liu.
Xia Liu. That is me.
Yours.
He let out a soft laugh, seemingly carefree, yet utterly captivating. The spring bloom in this garden couldn't rival his smile. If you still can't remember me, I'll bite you every time I see you. She extended her tongue, licking the blood from her lips, and said seriously,
If I still can't remember, then from now on, you'll see me once, and bite me once. Be fierce, don't be soft-hearted, and don't hold back. If I still can't manage to remember you, then I will definitely remember the person who bit me.
Hua Mu-shen, if you can't remember me, I'm definitely going to bite you hard, until you remember me.
All right.
Hua Mu-shen, don't you want to remember me too? Maybe it is not about remembering me, but remembering every significant woman in your life. Hua Mu-shen, you must remember me with your heart. Even if your eyes can't remember, your heart will retain the imprint. Hua Mu-shen, my name is Xia Liu. You must remember me with all your heart.
With all your heart.
He whispered, a little lost.
With all my heart, I remember you.
Yes, with all your heart.
Okay, just put your heart into it.
He smiled too. Being with this enchantress, he could always laugh with joy, but every time he saw her slightly narrow her eyes, a look of confusion in them, he felt a pang of heartache. Hearing that this child couldn't remember any woman, she thought he remember him. Perhaps he still wouldn't remember her in the future. But it is all right, no matter what method she used. She was absolutely determined to make him remember her. The matter of Xia Liu forcing a kiss on Prince Hua Mu-shen was seen by some palace maid at the time, and the news spread like wildfire. Rumors then began to spread throughout the palace, saying that the girl named Xia Liu, whose name itself sounded vulgar, was equally vulgar in person. She had actually forced a kiss on Prince Hua Mu-shen, using violence against him. Now, Xia Liu was pointed at whenever she walked through the palace. Xia Liu walked through Chang Di's door with an air of generosity. Several palace maids secretly watched her, but dared not say a word. As soon as Xia Liu's figure disappeared, several of them began to gather and gossip.
It was her who forced the kiss on the prince, and also seduced the emperor. And what is more, and even the esteemed miracle doctor was captivated by this vixen. I saw the divine physician emerging from his chambers early this morning. Now, for his sake, the emperor no longer stays overnight in Fangxia Palace.
You. Talking about me. The few palace maids turned around and saw her and were startled. Isn't that Xia Liu? The vixen immediately exchanged glances and then quickly scattered. Xia Liu rolled her eyes, finding it truly uninteresting. They are even more timid than her. Xia Liu was indignant and ignored the gossip. She didn't want to go to the imperial study anymore and planned to sneak back to the handyman's quarters for a nap. But before she could leave, Si-yin showed up.
Miss Xia, the emperor has summoned you back to the imperial study.
Si-yin added deliberately.
The emperor wants you there, immediately.
Xia Liu felt like crying, but had no tears. Could this dog emperor really have taken a liking to her? Can I refuse? Si-yin replied in a steady voice.
That would be defying the imperial decree.
Defying the decree? That is punishable by death. She couldn't give this tyrant any chance to exert his power over her. So Xia Liu had no choice but to obediently follow Si-yin. Glancing at Si-yin, walking ahead, Xia Liu suddenly felt Si-yin was quite tall, a whole head taller than someone who was 1.7 meters. A sudden idea struck her. Remembering a certain scene, Xia Liu mischievously called out, Si-yin, Si-yin, Wait up! Chen Ziyin was caught completely off guard. In the moment, he turned his head. A pair of hands unhesitatingly landed on Ziyin's chest. And there, it was surprisingly flat. Xiaoliu cursed herself for her prank, having discovered something she shouldn't have. Ziyin Fanyin realized what had happened. His face instantly turned ashen, a murderous aura emanating from his eyes. Terrified, Xiaoliu backed away 3 feet. He did it on purpose, she thought. But I never expected Ziyin to actually be a man. Xiaoliu glanced around. Damn it. This place is deserted. I'm in danger now. Ziyin advanced step by step. Ziyin, calm down first. I didn't mean to. But don't worry. I promise I won't say a word. What else could he say now? His life is on the line. After all, Ziyin's face turned ashen, and he grabbed Xiaoliu by the throat. He spoke coldly.
I always knew you were more than you seem. Tell me, who sent you here? How did you find me?
As Ziyin spoke, his voice had reverted to that of a man. Natsulu was being choked by him. Her face flushed red as she said, Who sent me here? I really didn't mean to.
4th Master.
Please, let me go. I swear, I won't say a word. Fear coursed through Natsulu's entire body. She spoke almost purely out of instinct.
I believe only the dead can keep secrets forever. I've known for a while that you're not simple. Approaching the prince, and deliberately approaching the princess. What exactly is your purpose? But rest assured, I won't let you succeed. I won't give you any chance to harm our lord.
To Natsulu's pleas, Ziyin remained unmoved, his fingers tightening with each passing moment. And the air grew thinner. Natsulu's face turned from pale to ashen, then purple, her pupils dilating infinitely. Who is your lord? Damn it. Could it be that dog emperor? Ziyin smiled coldly, and deliberately loosened his grip.
What do you think?
Damn it. If I knew, would I be asking you? Ziyin was momentarily stunned by his outburst. In that brief moment, she seized the opportunity, clenched her fist, and with all her might, she swung her fist, smashing it hard onto Ziyin's neck. Such an unguarded punch landed, striking Ziyin directly in the throat. Greedily gasping for fresh air, while seeking an escape route, she ran and shouted, Assassin! Catch the assassin! Unfortunately, this path was sparsely populated. Before she could run 2 steps, her arm was grabbed by the pursuing Ziyin. Natsulu shot him a cold glare, her eyes filled with anxiety. I have no past grievances with you. We have no quarrel, recent or past. Why must you kill me? I'm just a frail woman, utterly defenseless. And I have no means to harm your lord. What a waste! I even considered you a good friend. Have you no conscience? Ziyin paused on the stairs and stopped running. He just stared straight at him with an expression of deep sorrow and intense anger. As he stared, tears inexplicably began to fall. Wiping the tears from his face, Xiaoliu, in that instant, was no longer afraid. He walked towards him step by step. Come on! Just strangle me to death! Go on! Come on! Just kill me! Go ahead! Ziyin's mouth kept twitching. This woman is truly insane. But looking at the fierce glare in her eyes, he found a strange sense of comfort. Come on, then! Why aren't you coming? Xiaoliu continued to yell with all his might, tears streaming down the corners of his eyes. If Ziyin was truly determined to kill him, it would be useless. He couldn't escape. He thought this and took another step forward. Why aren't you coming? Ziyin's hand trembled. Finally, to Xiaoliu's stunned surprise, she turned and walked away. Xiaoliu 不眨眼 in confusion. Only when he saw Ziyin's back completely disappear from his sight did he let out a sigh of relief, collapsing onto the ground, his expression becoming dazed. All right. Ziyin just ran away. Does this prove that I'm out of danger? I don't have to die. He took several deep breaths, feeling like he had narrowly escaped death. But why did Xiyin run off so suddenly? Could it be that my words had actually intimidated her? That is impossible. Xiaoliu was very puzzled. As he was pondering, a hand suddenly reached out from behind and landed on his shoulder. Xiaoliu stiffened, afraid to turn around and look. Could it be that Xiyin had returned? He regretted it, his intestines churning with regret, stiffening his body. He felt a chill run down his spine. The hand on his shoulder felt like a spectral claw reaching for his soul, but he didn't dare to look back.
Until the little liar. You're zoning out.
The hand described as obscene, though likely a typo for Xiaoliu's, trembled fiercely, and only then did he slowly turn his head, clearly seeing the person behind him. He suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, then roared in annoyance. Scaring someone like that can be fatal, don't you know? It is fine. Why were you sneaking up behind me, even if you were sneaking? Why didn't you say something first? Were you trying to scare me to death? He could no longer maintain his imperial dignity. The taut string of tension suddenly slackened, and it felt almost unreal. In that moment, he had felt genuine fear. Hua Zhiyan wasn't angry. Instead, he smiled, clearly in a good mood.
Let's go. I've been looking for you all this time and couldn't find you.
Saying this, he naturally took his hand and headed towards the imperial study. Xiaoliu followed behind, feeling strange. He just kept watching. It was strange. Why wasn't he angry? And why was he in such a good mood? Seeing him staring, the emperor's mood brightened even more.
Little liar. You've been staring at me for quite a while.
You're acting strange. How did you know I was here? And also, why aren't you angry anymore? Did you need something from me?
I was looking for you all this time, so it is not surprising I found you here. And also, why should I be angry? Do I seem like such a petty person? Last time, I merely intended to give you a small lesson. Last time, I just wanted to teach you a small lesson. As for now, there is no need.
Thinking about what happened last time, she abruptly shook off his hand and spat at him. Don't mention last time to me. Grandma, I'm still angry. I haven't forgiven you.
I said, whether to forgive or not is your business. I never said I needed your forgiveness.
Fine. If you won't forgive me, then why are you holding my hand?
I'll hold it if I want to.
He went downstairs and blinked, asking puzzled, You aren't actually falling for me, are you? Hua Zhiyan looked up at him.
If thinking that makes you feel better, then so be it.
She resisted the urge to punch him. I don't like you. So, why would you think that? What is more, I already have someone I like. Someone you like? Speaking of which, a bewitching face suddenly popped into Xiaoliu's mind.
Who do you like?
That is my business. Is it necessary for me to tell you?
Who do you like?
You aren't actually falling for me, are you? Seeing him like this, he must be jealous. This dog emperor actually likes me. From now on, I can rely on the dog emperor's affection and walk sideways like a crab. Hua Zhiyan's expression turned a little unnatural.
Who likes you? Besides, even if I did like you, what of it? There are so many things I like. For example, the puppy I'm raising. I like so many things, such as the little dog I raised.
This dog emperor treats him like a dog. Fine, I couldn't be bothered to care what you like. And you're right. Liking me is your business. Me liking others is my business. Just continue to like whoever you like. He certainly won't like this dog emperor, just as he said. Him liking himself is his business. It has nothing to do with him. Then him liking others is also his own business. It is none of his business. With that thought, Xiaoliu patted her chest and coldly said, Zhifeng, I advise you not to be infatuated. Sister is just a legend. After saying that, she didn't even glance at Hua Zhiyan again, and skipped merrily into the imperial study.
Don't be infatuated with him.
He is a legend. Hua Zhiyan's face turned completely black. He is even more of a legend than a legend. The first thing Xia Liu did upon entering the imperial study was to look for her bag. But after searching the entire imperial study, there was no sign of it.
Not as good as your smile.
Where is it? She searched every nook and cranny, but still couldn't find it.
Little liar, what are you looking for?
Where did you put my bag? The emperor sneered.
Want it.
Isn't that obvious? Her face grew darker and darker. The emperor changed the subject, returning to the original question.
Who do you like?
Xia Liu tugged at the corners of her mouth and gave a sly smile.
Your brother, Hua Mushen.
The emperor's expression was grim, half doubtingly questioning.
You like Shen?
Yes, I like him. Hua Zhiyan's face sank instantly, the smile in his eyes evaporating in an instant. A pair of dark eyes, bottomless. He stared directly into the eyes beneath his lashes. Suddenly, chilling, his expression filled with unfathomable depth. His lips were tightly pursed. You've also noticed something's wrong with him downstairs. Cautiously, he asked tentatively. What is wrong? He said he liked the dog emperor's younger brother, Hua Mushen. When the dog emperor heard this, he became displeased. Was he jealous? Or was he resentful? Or perhaps he was angry? He looked intently, staring fixedly, but remained silent. After a very long time, he finally spoke. His voice a little hoarse, carrying a hint of desire, a touch of unwillingness, and a trace of helplessness. In short, his emotions were a complex mix.
Can you, please, not like him?
Was this still the dog emperor he knew? His eyes widened in shock, and in that moment, Xia Liu suspected he was hallucinating. He covered his lips, wanting to say something, but what could he say? To say he could stop liking Hua Mushen, but he couldn't. He truly liked Hua Mushen far more than this emperor. He averted his gaze, somewhat afraid to look at him. He waited, but no answer came, so he fell silent. Everything around seemed to freeze, creating a suffocating atmosphere. Ultimately, he was the one to speak first, breaking the silence. His voice was as captivating as if it were frozen.
Get out. Go back to the handyman quarters. Without my order. You are not to step out. Otherwise, I will break your legs. Beauty, that is my command. You are not to step outside. Responsible. I'll break your legs if you dare go downstairs.
I just want to give him 4 words. Utterly unreasonable. But I will. I will go out. He is also throwing a tantrum. It is truly frustrating. Why should it be like this? Whatever he says goes. And I can't even resist.
What did you say?
He was intimidated by his gaze. His face turned pale in an instant. It is nothing.
It is fine. Just go back to your servants' quarters.
He quickly ran past him, daring not to look at his expression anymore. After a couple of steps, he turned back, mustering his courage to ask, "Could you please return my bag to me?" He didn't look back. He only managed to squeeze out a few words through gritted teeth.
Someone will be sent to deliver it.
Thank you. By the time Xia Liu returned to the servants' quarters, it was already evening. He wondered how Shurong and Prince Xia were faring. Xia Liu headed straight for Fengcheng Palace. As expected, the demon was there, and Dr. Bai was there too. And surprisingly, Prince Xia was also present. What is going on? Sensing that the atmosphere was amiss, Xia Liu, without minding the presence of the demon, or Shurong, said with a distressed face,
"The princess went horseback riding today, but the horse was spooked. The princess fell from the horse. Her injury, which was almost healed, has now relapsed. I don't know if she'll recover this time, but the princess will surely get better. Don't mind my silly talk."
"Don't worry. With Divine Dr. Liu Bai here, the princess will be fine.
But Divine Dr. Liu Bai is not an immortal. After all, there are times when even he cannot cure.
Wei Ru stubbornly refuted. Xia Liu, feeling the same, he is a divine doctor, not an immortal. There are times when he cannot cure. Like with Ji Fei. Speaking of which, I haven't seen Yi Fei for a few days.
Don't worry. As for the princess, I, Liu, don't take it lightly. Is the princess's injury not serious? What are the chances of her full recovery?
Then, Prince Axia, who had been silent, spoke with concern. Xiaolu Liu glanced at him in surprise, thinking that for Shurong, this injury was worth it. By the way, how did Shurong get injured? Her body wasn't well to begin with. How could she have been allowed to ride a horse? Then, Prince Ya's expression turned particularly grim. She was already delicate. How could you carelessly let her ride a horse? The princess, too. What was worth risking her safety for? It was for some vague, intangible thing. She didn't care about her own health at all.
It is me. It is all my fault.
Prince Xia frowned. Xia Liu looked him up and down, then suddenly understood. Oh, so it was Prince Ya. At this moment, Shurong lay on the bed, her face extremely pale. Xia Liu glanced at him. For a man, is it really worth it? His eyes suddenly caught sight of the lewd demon. His eyes brightened.
Lewd.
His eyes suddenly caught a glimpse of the shamelessness. His eyes brightened.
Xia Liu?
Xia Liu's heart skipped a beat, walking step by step towards him. Couldn't help but reach out to hug him and asked with a slight tremble.
Huangmu Mountain, you remember me, don't you?
Right.
Yes, I remember you. It is already shameless.
Yes, I am shameless. Not the others present. The two embraced and burst into laughter. Shocked, their eyes widened. In disbelief, this is truly too bold. Although the Fengluan dynasty is known for its liberal customs, it hasn't reached this extent yet. Prince Xia, however, maintained a calm expression, as if turning a blind eye. As for Liu Bai, besides his inner shock, he showed little else. He was merely thinking, these two brothers have fallen for the same woman. What is to be done? Since the emperor does not reject Miss Xia, she must indeed be an exceptionally special woman. Thus, it is understandable that Prince Shen would remember Miss Xia. It is excusable. But there is only one Miss Xia. What is to be done?
The emperor has arrived!
Liu Bai was startled. Seeing the two still holding each other tightly, he wanted to remind them to avoid provoking someone. But before he could speak, that person's voice had already come quickly.
Humiliation. What?
The other half of the sentence froze, as if caught in his throat. Everyone turned to look at the emperor. Standing at the doorway with a deathly pale face, everyone in the room turned to pay their respects. At that moment, Xia Liu felt a pang of embarrassment. He wanted to bow, but it was clearly too late. So he could only shrink into Hua Musheng's arms, like an ostrich. The man's expression grew even darker, his gaze chilling and terrifying, staring directly at him, as if he meant to devour him.
Brother Emperor, you've come to see Shurong too, with Liu Bai here. Nothing will go wrong. Ye Fei even complained these past 2 days that Brother Emperor never visited, saying he was so fierce. I should make time to visit soon, lest that girl make a fuss.
Hua Mushen and Hua Muyan have always been on very good terms, to the point where they could even dispense with the courtesies between ruler and subject. Yet, as these words were spoken, the atmosphere felt rather odd. Hua Jian, as if nothing had happened, turned his gaze to Shurong's face.
Zhenggang has already visited. I heard Shurong is quite clever, isn't she? She is on my mind, so I came to see.
Hua Mushen smiled and said no more. Xia Liu breathed a slight sigh of relief. Being stared at so directly by the emperor, he felt an unspeakable pressure. Strange! He hadn't done anything to wrong the emperor. So why was the emperor pressuring him? He felt a surge of indignation, but dared not overstep. He had experienced the dog emperor's methods before. Besides, now that the backpack is in hand, he was contemplating a good way to leave the palace. This was, after all, not where he belonged. He had no desire to put himself in danger. The emperor swept past Wu Hui, walking directly up to Xu Rong. The child's face was pale and bloodless at this moment, lying on the bed like half a cripple.
Who let Xu Rong go riding? Knowing her injuries had not healed. Why weren't you watching her? You two, do you not want your heads anymore?
Beiru was startled by this, and her legs went straight down as she knelt before the emperor.
This servant deserves death. It was this servant who failed to look after the princess.
Beiru, what is it you are confessing to? If your princess truly wished to do something, how could a mere maid like you possibly stop her? This was clearly an attempt to absolve Beiru.
Silence! I am not asking you.
But I am speaking the truth. Wu Hui muttered softly, but ultimately did not dare to overstep.
It is my fault. It was I who insisted on riding, which is why the princess is in this state. I, Xia, am willing to bear all responsibility.
The crown prince. Xu Rong's engagement to you has already been enough. Since Crown Prince Xia has no feelings for Xu Rong, you should stay far away from her. This girl is so stubborn. What she cannot have, she refuses to give up. I said let go. She will resolutely let go. Therefore, I do not wish for anything that should not be involved to be drawn in.
If the emperor knew this was Xu Rong and Wu Hui's scheme, I wonder if he could still say such a thing. Prince Xia frowned, casting an arrogant glance at Xu Rong on the bed.
I have my own plans.
Return to the imperial study.
His expression had been grim from beginning to end. As he passed by Xia Liu, the chill emanating from him was bone-chilling.
Take good care of the princess.
His gaze swept over everyone present, but he didn't spare Xia Liu another look. Once the prince had left, everyone felt a sense of relief. Liu Bai sighed and began to ask them to leave.
The princess needs rest. Everyone out.
Prince Xia was the first to turn and leave. Xia Liu's temper began to flare up. Did he really not care about Xu Rong at all? He should at least show some concern and offer a word of advice, shouldn't he? Hua Mushen's eyes narrowed slightly, staring at Xia Liu for a moment. Then he pulled Xia Liu out, his large hand firmly gripping Xia Liu's. Xia Liu followed behind, looking at their clasped hands. He felt a sense of unreality, the only real thing being the fierce pounding of his own heart. Pound by pound, as if it wouldn't rest until it leaped out. That wild thumping made Xia Liu's face flush with embarrassment.
What is wrong?
Hua Mushe, my heart is racing. The mischievous one raised an eyebrow. His well-defined hand rested directly on Xia Liu's chest. A smile played on his red lips.
It is beating quite fiercely.
Looking at the hand on his chest, Xia Liu's heart pounded harder and harder. He nervously slapped Hua Mushen's hand away, wondering, oh no, could it be that I've fallen in love with you? The mischievous one couldn't help but smile.
What is so bad about falling in love with me?
Zhao, you can't help but smile.
What is so bad about falling in love with me?
It is not that it is bad. It is just that there is no benefit at all. Xia Liu took a step back, walking past him dazedly, muttering silently to herself. It is over. It is over. It is over. How could I fall in love with this wretched demon? And when exactly did it start? I clearly had less contact with him than with that dog emperor. So why didn't I fall for the dog emperor, but developed feelings for him instead? Yao Ning kept following behind him, at a distance neither too close nor too far, so that if he turned around, he could see him with a single glance. Xia Liu's mind was still in a haze, and she tried to sort out her thoughts. The moment she turned, she ran straight into the demon's intoxicating, captivating eyes. He seemed to be looking at her, but his gaze was only directed at her, not truly seeing her. There was no trace of her in the depths of his eyes. Xia Liu felt a sense of doubt. He couldn't see. Her heart leaped in shock, and her confusion deepened. No wonder it only felt like we were making eye contact when we were close. It only felt like we were making eye contact. She skipped over, stopping at a slightly farther distance. She held up 2 fingers and asked him, Hua Mushe, how many fingers is this? He squinted slightly, reaching out to touch Xia Liu. She took a step back, and his hand grasped only air. Did you see clearly? How many fingers is this? Xiaoluduni stared at him, watching his every move. Then, she saw Hua Mushen squint his eyes, trying hard to make out what he was seeing. The words, "can't see clearly," struck Xiaolu's heart like a heavy hammer. He couldn't see clearly.
What is wrong?
And he had the nerve to ask what was wrong. Xiaolu just wanted to cry at this moment. This fool! What on earth can he see clearly? He can't see anything clearly at all. All right. It is not that he doesn't want to see. It is that he can't. He asked him softly, "Like this, can you see me clearly?"
That is right. I can see clearly.
Hua Mushen smiled. Xiaolu也smiled, but felt a pang of sadness.
Hey, you're the second one to notice.
Who was the first?
Manluo. It was Manluo.
Xiaolu felt as if something had exploded in his chest. Man. He gave a nonchalant smile.
Woman.
He was startled, as if his heart was being intensely pressed by something. That unbearable feeling made him feel suffocated.
Manluo, she is a very good woman. She once saved my life.
Without saying much, and without further explanation, his brows relaxed. His expression and will slowly detached. That sense of emptiness was like the first time Xiaolu saw him, even though he was right before his eyes. Even with his eyes looking at you, his mind was vacant, as if his soul had been pulled from his body. He suddenly felt a little scared. Xiaolu shook him, changing the subject. Araki-shin, when did it start for you?
It has always been like this. Ever since I can remember, it has always been like this.
Natural. He smiled slightly, but didn't say anything more. Xiaolu thought, with a pang of worry, if it is always being like this, how should he perceive the world? With his heart, but it doesn't seem like it. He never even bothered to put a single thought into it, under such carelessness and indifferent facade. That heart is actually stiffer, more heartless, and more cold-blooded than that of the Dog Emperor, because he cares about nothing. Never has he ever desired anything. He just drifts through each day with such indifference, colder even than this heartless me. The two of us are on entirely different planes. When Xiaolu returned to the handyman's quarters, he found someone who shouldn't have been there. The person stood with his back to him by the window, dressed in imperial yellow. His ink-black hair like jade cascaded loosely. He stood there, his back perfectly straight, his expression cool and aloof, exuding a heavy atmosphere around him. Xiaolu's legs were still poised on the threshold.
He is back.
Xiaolu had no idea what he wanted. He fell silent for a moment, unsure how to address him.
Your audacity is growing. How dare you defy my command?
Command? What command? Are you referring to staying within the handyman's quarters? Shurong was injured. I was worried about her, so I went to see her. But I did nothing wrong. I committed no offense. On what grounds do you believe you can imprison me? Because you are the emperor. Even if you are the emperor, you have no right to imprison me. He sneered, finally turning to cast a glance at him, utterly devoid of emotion.
On what grounds? Because you are on the imperial grounds of Fengluan. Because I am the emperor. My destiny. It is never yielded in vain. You should know my methods.
A tremor ran through Xiaolu's heart. Feeling restless and agitated, he pursed his lips, staring directly at the emperor. Their eyes met, and a palpable tension crackled in the air between them. Finally, Xiaolu could not bear it, averting his gaze first, impatiently running a hand through his hair. What exactly do you want? Shurong has already forgiven me, and though you may doubt my identity, you must surely know I am incapable of harming you or Shurong. Those were Huaji's words. I don't want to play this game anymore. You should let me go. If I stay here any longer, it will bring no good to either of us. You know this better than anyone else. To stay or to let go, It all hinges on his word. But sometimes people know that continuing, things will head in a detrimental direction, yet stubbornly refuse to let go, unwilling to give in, stubbornly refusing to let go. The flower's eye faces the same dilemma.
Good night. So you've been playing this all along.
No one can sway my resolve. Even if you want to leave, you need my permission. I don't want to let you go yet. So you can't leave. Because this game has only just begun.
His words left me momentarily stunned, unsure of how to respond. My heart grew cold, so cold. After composing myself, I tried to reason with him. You like me, so you won't let me go. But I love Hua Mushen, your brother. If you don't let me go, I will continue to love him. If you let me go, perhaps before my feelings for him deepen, I might forget him easily. But staying is a different story. I won't be able to stop myself from loving him. It is something even I can't control. So if you don't want to cause pain to 3 people, you should let me go. Wrong. Perhaps in the end, you'll be the only one in pain. After all, I love him, and he loves me too. And...
Enough!
He growled, eagerly, interrupting him.
I won't let you go. You can forget about that.
With that, he didn't look at him again, turning around and leaving with a flourish. His posture was strong and upright. Perhaps no matter who he liked, he would do anything to get them back. But why was the person he liked precisely Hua Mushen, his most beloved younger brother, his dearest sibling? The next day, the demon entered the palace, seeking him out with an eagerness that bordered on lewdness. In the month they hadn't seen each other, he and the demon had been inseparable, like conjoined twins. He remained silent, keeping him company. The incident that day, the woman he had mentioned, was never brought up again. He was immersed in the feeling of being with him, and he too was somewhat captivated. The demon embraced her, holding her tightly, with no space between them, enough for him to see him clearly. Their gazes locked, and as they looked, their lips naturally met. Their heated breaths mingled, as he wantonly savored her sweetness, receiving a shy response. The kiss ended. His lips were slightly flushed, making them appear even more alluring. He took out the pair of glasses he had brought from the 21st century. He gave him a sly smile. A surprise for you. He blinked, naturally unaware of what he was holding, but not knowing what he was about to do. He put them on him himself, and with the glasses on, he exuded a touch more scholarly elegance. He quickly adjusted to the lenses, his eyes fixed on him, observing him intently. He seemed a little shy, taking his hand and pointing to the distant blue sky and white clouds. Stop staring at me like that. The scenery here is beautiful. Enjoy the view. He cast a casual glance, his expression unreadable, a mix of emotions he couldn't quite place. A flicker of disgust crossed his brow. He sighed, pulling her into his arms and holding her tightly, as if trying to melt her into his very being. He gazed at him fixedly. The distant scenery, full of spring's charm, couldn't catch his eye. Hearing him speak, he felt immense satisfaction in his heart. Tiptoeing to offer his own red lips, he seemed unaccustomed to it. Taking off his glasses, holding him in one hand, turning passivity into initiative, he kissed him eagerly, his fingers restlessly igniting a fire upon him. The burning sensation almost merged her into his body, and he didn't resist either, just uneasily squirmed in his embrace and began to respond delicately, kissing every part of him with earnestness. With his response, he felt as if he had been granted a privilege, advancing step by step, with delicate kisses moving from his red lips to his earlobes, then to his neck, as if to consume him. So eager, a large hand reached under the hem of his clothes, bringing a slight chill, and he was taken aback. Had it escalated this far so quickly? Where is this? This is the Imperial Palace. Are you planning to perform a live erotic spectacle for others?
He wanted to push him away, but his whole body felt weak, somewhat powerless. His arm's strength was more than just considerable, firmly holding him captive in his embrace. He squirmed a couple of times. Hua Mushen was displeased. Not allowing him to be distracted, he bit down hard on his collarbone, his tender skin, leaving a clearly visible bluish-purple mark. In pain, he couldn't help but let out a soft moan. He looked at his creation and smiled with satisfaction.
You two want to stage a living success. You should also ask if this consort and His Majesty are willing to watch. Are you two trying to put on a show? But you should ask if this Empress and His Majesty are willing to watch.
Ye Fei chuckled flirtatiously, her words laced with undisguised sarcasm.
Ye Fei speaks the truth. Next time, I'll choose a better spot, lest I be caught in the act.
Saying this, she gently bestowed a kiss upon Sha Liu's face, her alluring eyes twinkling, utterly captivating.
Wouldn't you agree, my dear?
She called him my dear. The formerly awkward atmosphere, because of her words, seemed to ease slightly.
It is affection, indeed. But a relationship without proper standing is ultimately not ideal.
Turning to look at Sha Liu, she spoke with a hint of mockery.
A girl of your obscure origins, what makes you think you're fit to be a princess? To marry into royalty, to marry Shen.
She looked up at the emperor haughtily, asking,
Sweet nothings, am I right?
Sweet nothings, she pursed her lips.
Let Shen take you as a maid in his chambers. That, perhaps, is acceptable.
Ultimately, you're still a girl unfit for formal introductions, merely a chambermaid. If you wish for her to marry, you must first ask for her consent, mustn't you? While Sha Liu remained silent. Ye Fei had already spoken.
Very well, let her be a chambermaid for Shen. She should move in today. Let him be a concubine's maid. Move in today.
With a few casual words, Sha Liu's fate was decided. His palms under his clothes were pinched, leaving crescent-shaped marks. Sha Liu held back Hua Mushen, who was about to speak, with his hand. He stepped forward and looked at the person, saying coldly, How dare you decide my fate? Whether I become a concubine's maid is my business. What concern is it of yours? Saying this, he looked at Yi Fei venomously. If you can't stand the light, then don't force it. Concubine Yi, however, was still smiling, though a sinister aura emanated from her.
The Emperor doesn't dare to interrupt when I speak in this palace. What right do you have to speak? In the Emperor's harem, if you are unwilling to go, then fine. This palace wouldn't mind sending you to the military camp.
Sha Liu bit his pale lips. He laughed in anger. When did this Fangluan dynasty get a new master? With those words, Ye Fei was even more pleased, and the emperor had not yet spoken. Sha Liu thought that no matter how much the emperor doted on Yi Fei, there must be a limit. But he didn't expect.
Hua Zhiyan, do you want me to help you guide your empire? A floral destiny. Your empire. Will you help me guide it?
The emperor remained unmoved, showing no hint of anger. Ye Fei said, sarcastically, his face grim.
Trying to sow discord. You're still too green for that.
Sha Liu stumbled back a step, feeling more embarrassed than ever before. His anger surged, but he couldn't unleash it. Hua Mushen put an arm around him, hindering his movement, frowning slightly with displeasure.
Hey, are you done playing?
She didn't seem to blame him at all. Sha Liu felt wronged, but more than that, he was startled and bewildered. No matter how favored he might be, they wouldn't treat him this way. The emperor, silent for so long, spoke in a cold voice.
If you want to be intimate next time, remember to find a more private place. If you really can't part, just accept it. Become a concubine. It won't even tarnish your status.
The latter statement was utterly sarcastic, clearly aimed at Sha Liu. Xiaoliu only felt uncomfortable. Seeing the emperor's indifferent expression, he must have given up on himself. But why did he feel a sense of melancholy? Xiaoliu's face was pale. He smiled, then turned to the person beside him. 花木生, do you want me? 花木生, do you want me or not? The emperor, who had planned to leave, heard this and froze in his tracks. His thin lips were kissing ruthlessly, his eyes like a frigid pool, fixed on Xiaoliu. Raising an eyebrow, Hua Mushen said,
My treasure, with you by my side, Hua Mushen, what more could I ask for?
Though he whispered this biting Xiaoliu's ear, the words carried to everyone present. The fingers beneath the imperial yellow robe clenched tighter and tighter, and for a moment the emperor saw only a white haze. He couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality. But as the mist cleared, and he saw the tender affection between the two, a dull ache filled his chest, blindingly so. He pursed his lips, and finally, with Ye Fei departed. Forget it. Forget it. Let it go. And forget it. What is not yours can never be forced. If that person were not his own brother, little liar, you are free. From this moment on. That night, Xiaoliu received the imperial decree, delivered by Xi Yin, that he was free. The emperor had let him go. From then on, his coming and going would have nothing to do with the emperor. He was no longer the suspected murderer. The moment he received the news, Xiaoliu was elated. But after the excitement faded, a sense of confusion set in. With the world so vast, where could he go? Seeing him like this, Xi Yin couldn't help but let out a cold laugh.
I truly hope I never see you again.
Don't worry. I want to see you even less than you want to see me.
He didn't want to see him either. He is so terrifying. I thought he fancied me.
Silly girl. Let's go. Go, it is best you never come back in this life. Otherwise, I can't guarantee I won't kill you next time.
With that, he turned and left without hesitation. Xiaoliu gave him a dry glare. The next day, after packing her things, she finally left the palace. Yes, she was out. She didn't say goodbye to that dog emperor, not even a word to Shurong, because she didn't want to face any goodbyes, even if it wasn't that heartbreaking. She followed the path to find Prince Shen. She might not look for others, but she couldn't ignore the demon, referring to Prince Shen, likely a playful or teasing term. She knocked on the door. Xiaoliu, with her bag, the door was pulled open. The gatekeeper sized her up.
Then politely asked, May I ask what business the young lady has?
I'm here to see your master.
Prince Shen, don't dismiss me yet.
Tell him my name, and ask your prince. He said this with a confident smile.
Please, wait a moment.
This line seems like a poetic or lyrical insert, possibly a song lyric or a metaphorical description. The literal translation doesn't fit seamlessly into the narrative flow, but here is an attempt to capture its essence. It is not as good as your H1 smile. The forest is destined to be filled with sorrow and little affection.
A moment later, a handsome man dressed in red entered Xiaoliu's sight. Xiaoliu couldn't help but smile, and impulsively ran towards him, hugging him tightly.
What should I do?
I've been kicked out, and I have nowhere to go.
You must take me in.
All right, I'd be delighted. My estate happens to be short of a maid for rough chores.
This servant is willing to serve you personally, Your Highness.
Fine. Then, serve closely.
She gritted her teeth again, secretly kissed her smooth earlobe, and whispered in her ear.
Be this prince's personal maid, but it means accompanying them for meals, drinks, and even sleeping with them.
So, young lady, are you willing?
You're shameless, utterly shameless.
He chuckled and led him into the inner courtyard. He tilted his head, observing the courtyard. It is quite spacious, but a bit desolate. With only a few maids and guards, no one else seems to be around. He remembered the first time he asked him, and back then, he had said no wife, no concubines, but power and wealth. What fortunate circumstances to have encountered this! He couldn't help but chuckle, the amusement spreading across his face.
Go choose a room,
he said, then I led him on a tour of the mansion, room by room, letting him pick one to his liking.
Where's your room?
He guided him around, showing him his own chambers.
I'll take this one. Is that all right?
He pondered. I wanted to be closer to you, but he subtly shook his head.
This one won't do.
Why won't this one do? Are you hiding a beauty in there? He wanted to ask, but the words didn't come out. Instead, he saw him point to the room on the right and say,
That one then. I'll have the servants clean it up.
Left or right? Aren't they all the same? He pouted and said no more, but he implicitly agreed. A little while later.
Do you know why I had someone bring you to my chambers the first time?
I remember. It is etched in my memory, okay?
I was thinking then, whether to keep you by my side forever, always within my sight.
Why?
I knew then that I would inevitably fall in love with you once we met, so I was preparing for love at first sight, even if it meant imprisonment. I wanted to keep you by my side, never letting you go.
He listened, speechless, with a darkening expression, clearly not believing his words. Xiaoliu didn't believe Hua Muxin's explanation, but his heart felt sweet. After a moment's thought, he smiled faintly. But I did refuse you.
Yes, you did refuse me.
So why didn't you stand by your own wishes? Or just take me away? If he had insisted on his original intention, then, and used his royal authority to take me, how could I have ended up in prison? Not only would I have avoided imprisonment, but I wouldn't have met that dog emperor.
Yes. Why wasn't I more resolute in my own thoughts then?
Thinking back, it seemed a bit amusing, so I continued.
It is all in the past. You are here now, with me.
Hua Muxin, I believe in love, but I don't believe in eternity. I value commitment, but I don't believe in vows. Hua Muxin smiled and asked back,
You don't believe?
Don't believe it. He nodded firmly, without any hesitation.
Perhaps it is better not to believe. If you don't believe from the start, then perhaps no matter how things turn out later, or how twisted the journey becomes, your heart will always remain outside of it, and then perhaps you won't get hurt. I don't want you to be hurt at all.
He didn't give him a promise, nor did he make a vow, but just with this explanation, he understood, so he would cherish this person before him. Hua Muxin, although I don't believe in eternal love, I am telling you clearly right now, I love you at this very moment. Even if it is just for this moment, I will love you with all my heart until I can no longer love. I won't hold anything back from you just because I don't believe in eternity. I just don't believe in eternity. But that doesn't mean I don't know how to give my true heart. However, things that are too far away, I dare not think about. And I don't wish to say much more. Plans can never keep up with changes. I only want to cherish what is in front of me. The present. You who are by my side.
It doesn't matter if you don't believe. I don't believe it either. Not to believe.
The atmosphere grew a little tense. Both were proceeding with caution. Heads bowed, lost in their own thoughts. Nightfall. The two returned to their respective rooms. He opened his backpack and poured out all the contents. A cold object suddenly caught his eye. This is the Emperor's token, and it is the kind where seeing the token is like seeing the person himself. Why would the dog Emperor give me something like this? This is too precious. Could it be that the dog Emperor still can't forget about me? After thinking it over and over, he couldn't figure out what the Emperor was thinking. Xiaoliu couldn't be bothered to think about it any further. He changed into a plain-colored pajama. On a whim, he decided to surprise the demon. He quietly slipped out of his room. Peeking around cautiously, he crept forward and, step by step, pushed open the demon's door.
I know you've been wanting to get rid of me for a long time, so you don't have to be so blatant about seducing me.
Xiaoliu's forehead was covered in dark lines. This person's logic is truly formidable, but on second thought, his actions were indeed somewhat suggestive. However, if you weren't trying to seduce me, how would you know I was seducing you? All right. He did feel a bit guilty. But if it was seduction, so be it. He had already given his heart to him. What else couldn't he give? Although he held on to the concept of chastity, in front of the one he loved, all of that could be cast aside.
I've been waiting, constantly waiting for you to seduce me.
How did you know I would come to seduce you? What if I hadn't?
But here I am, aren't I? You haven't disappointed me.
He rolled his eyes. Xiaoliu bent her back. Who said that when water is too pure, there are no fish, and that
When a person is too shameless, they become invincible. That saying is certainly true. Demon, you're impossibly thick-skinned. Huamiu sighed deeply, lying on his side. His silver hair cascaded like water, covering half the bed. He said nonchalantly,
Go back to sleep. The room is next door. I'm not seeing you out. Go back to sleep. The room is next door. I'm not escorting you.
Without a second thought, Xiaoliu walked towards Huamiu Shen on the large bed, step by step. Joking. He had already planned to seduce him, so to leave empty-handed would mean he couldn't get by in the future. Huamiu Shen sighed, shifting his body further inward.
I knew you wouldn't behave.
I can behave and go back to my own room. Of course, provided I take you with me. Huamiu Shen shut up obediently, no longer speaking. Xiaoliu climbed onto the bed and hugged him tightly. He pressed his face firmly against Huamiu Shen's chest, feeling his warmth. Huamiu Shen's body was soft, without any stiffness at all. Xiaoliu thought, this scoundrel must often sleep with women in his arms. Otherwise, his body would surely react with some stiffness, wouldn't it? Isn't this how things usually play out in TV dramas and novels? Midnight, and the surroundings were silent. Xiaoliu Fanabufin, half of his body now pressing against the demon. He was just about to get up to use the restroom when he felt an unusual coldness from the hand resting on him. On a night like this, how could his fingers be so icy cold? A sudden sense of unease struck him. Xiaoliu turned, his hand reaching out to touch Huamiu Shen's face. Huamiu Shen's expression was one of extreme agony, and cold sweat poured off him. Soon, he heard Huamiu Shen's pained, fragmented moans.
No, I don't want to. Go save Paul.
Xiaoliu moved closer again, and as he heard the murmur, his heart grew cold. To call out Menluo's name even in his sleep, that person must be truly special. To have married her, what am I even thinking? Can you still be thinking about this now? Xiaoliu shook his head in annoyance, then looked at Huamiu Shen's curled-up body. A searing pain struck his heart. It slapped his cheeks. Xiaoliu called out anxiously, Empty Araki! Wake up! Wake up! Pain.
The pain is splitting.
Hurting so much. What on earth did he go through? What exactly happened to him? It is just a dream. Araki, wake up! Wake up! Xiaoliu whispered in his ear, comforting him over and over again. I don't know how long it has been. Xiaoliu looked down at him. He only saw his eyelashes tremble slightly, his eyes opening slightly, looking at him with a hint of confusion and bewilderment.
Mengrou. God.
Huamusha, it is me. I'm Mengrou. His heart felt so soft, as if being squeezed by something. Xiaoliu felt an unbearable ache in his heart.
Mengrou.
The way that name was spoken from his lips, full of dependence and trust, made Xiaoliu's heart ache unbearably. For a moment, it felt like a tearing, heart-wrenching pain. But at this moment, what did the pain matter, as long as he was all right? After a long while, he felt Huamiu Shen's mood had calmed significantly. He was no longer trembling. Xiaoliu closed his eyes in pain. He didn't want to look at the word Xiaoliu again. Xiaoliu looked at him, his tense muscles pulled into a smile that was uglier than any cry. You're awake. Then I'll go back and get some sleep, and come back later. He almost ran out of the room. He closed his eyes in pain, his lips moving slightly, but not a single word could be uttered. Xiaoliu ran back to the room next door and threw himself onto the bed, not wanting to think about anything. He'd feel better after sleeping. His reliance and trust towards that woman meant nothing. He had plenty of time. He hypnotized himself before sleep finally claimed him. He wondered, will he explain himself?